Welcome, everybody, to episode 3 of the Plug and Play podcast. This is the place where we talk about video games and various topics in the industry. We got a stacked lineup of news to talk about. Last week, we recorded a special episode of drafting games for this year. So if you haven't checked it out, go ahead. It's only like an hour long, so it's not a long listen, but it was a lot of fun there that we did there. So of course, my name is Alexis, and we got my co-host. We got Cameron. How are you today?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
All right, and then we got Henry. How are you, man?
Doing great. Hot off of Fantasy Critic, and a lot of cool stuff to talk about today, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, so the Fantasy Critic is funny because I think I fucked up with foam stars, so whoever counterpicked me, I think you got a good one right there. It's not looking good. I think someone gave it like a 60 already, so.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, good.
I've heard good things about the previews, too, so that's unfortunate.
Yeah,
that was my counter pick, and I was very glad to see when I Googled it earlier this afternoon that the reviews were starting to pour in like 6s and 7s. I'm like, this is good. This is good.
That's weird because it previewed good, so I guess something went wrong in the release. But
the nature of Fantasy Critic,
right?
You never know.
Yeah, I should have got like another. There's like some other game that I was thinking about. I think it was Banishers of Ghosts of Eden or whatever. It's like some long game from Focus Entertainment, but it's whatever.
Yeah.
So. All right, so we're gonna get started with like some smaller news topics. Later on, we got like some huge news that we can discuss. It'll take a while when we get to that part. So let's get started with our first one is Spec Ops: The Line, which came out around like the 2010s, around there. It was a PS3 360 game. It's also on Steam. It was permanently removed from all digital storefronts. So I think it was up on Steam for a little while. And same with the Xbox, but then it went away after like a few hours of the news reporting it. Yeah, you can't get this game anymore. So if you're interested in this one, you can get it digital. Spec Ops: The Line. There's also like you can get physical copies like on eBay, but the prices shot up like really quick. Because it was like $10. It was like a cheap game that it was old. It wasn't. I guess like back then it was like popular, but now it's like whatever. But now that it went away from all digital stores, price shot up. So now it's like up to $40, $50. So if you haven't got your copy yet, unfortunately you have to pay a pricey penny for that. So yeah, the reason that it got removed from all these storefronts is that it was due to some music licensing, which I feel like it is always the case with games that are like taken away from these storefronts. Yeah, I don't know. It's like this is one of the problems I have with like digital games, where like if your game is only digital only, you have that risk of it getting taken away from like these stores and stuff. And that's why like with a physical copy that'll never happen. But yeah, it was about a music license. I don't know what you think about this, Henry, about Spec Ops: The Line.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys ever played Spec Ops: The Line, but I definitely did, and it's definitely a cult classic game. This game it came out, and I think it didn't do very well.
No, I don't think so.
I think it was initially considered like a failure, and over time, word of mouth spread on it, and a lot of people bought it over the course of time. So this is something that the company has always reported. I forget who published it, but it was a pretty big publisher, if I remember correctly.
2K.
2K, yeah, very big publisher. So they published it, and they've come out over time and said, yeah, well, this game didn't sell well at the very beginning, but over time, it's been a very steady seller, which is very rare for games. Most games, like 90% of their sales is within the first week. Super upfront sales for games most of the time, so that's a really big outlier. But I actually enjoyed it. It has a really great ending. It plays really well on the narrative of war and kind of like, how that affects people, and you don't see it coming, and it's just a very good twist ending. That's typically how people talk about it in that way. So it's really sad to see it go. Clearly people were still buying it, and I think what really stands out is obviously like Alexis was saying, this is a problem that we see kind of occur over and over and over again, and it is normally due to licensed music.
Yeah.
Which I found very interesting. There was another article that was written a while back when another game like this was taken down, And it's just because way back in the day, when game companies were putting together these deals for licensing, they just assumed games were not going to be around for very long. Nobody was going to care about this game in 10 years or 15 or whatever, because video games are for nerds, and that's the only people who care about them, and that's the end of it. But now we're seeing, obviously, that's not the case, and I think games have kind of entered a conversation of if they are or are not art, and how to preserve them. And obviously, just owning it in general. I'm a huge proponent of owning a physical copy, because this is something that can't happen to you. There's other downsides to physical copies, but this is not one of them. Cam, what do you think about this?
Yeah, this is this is an interesting one for me, because it's like I don't have a lot of investment into the game from that perspective, because I actually have not played it. I've heard a lot of good things about it though. But this is something we've obviously seen like quite often, and I think it's kind of interesting, honestly, because I wonder, and this is kind of just thinking in the past, I guess, but it's like I almost wonder why they didn't just set these contracts up like they do with movies, where it just they set the contract up to use a song in a movie, and you pretty much never hear about a movie not being sold anymore because of a song. So clearly there's a huge difference in just the way that they're setting up these contracts from games to movies, and maybe nowadays those are more aligned than they used to be. But I think I don't know. I think this is kind of interesting, because like I find it so fascinating that the solution to this is just remove it permanently from all digital storefronts. Like,
Yeah, right.
you couldn't maybe, I don't know, come to a compromise and like, it sounds goofy to say this, but you couldn't just like mute the music that's licensed or something. Like, it's odd to me that that's the solution, I guess, is my point. So.
Yeah, so I was reading the article of this one. It was like there's a couple of songs in there that were like, it was like one in the main menu, I think, and then there's like a couple other that happened like during the game. Yeah, I don't know. Henry, did you say you played this? Do you know where these songs played, or you don't remember?
I got no clue. I played it like maybe a decade ago.
Okay.
Like, it was a while. I played it on the PS3, and yeah, it could have been anything. You got me.
Got it. Yeah, I only saw that it was like in the main menu, and they sent out like a statement of them saying that, oh, we're sorry, we gotta take it away. I'm like, I know Cameron's like, why don't you just like mute it? But I guess it wasn't like worth it to do that. I guess it would have been like extra work, or maybe they don't have the licensing to the game, so it's like this whole thing. And I know with like music, it's like I feel like music is like the one thing that's always wrong with like these games that get taken off the stores, because it might be like licensed IPs or whatever, but I think like games using like real music, it just like it messes up like how everything works for like distributing the game. It was up on Steam. I saw like you could probably still get it like on external sites like GOG.
No, even external sites, it got taken down too.
Okay, I remember like the day that it got taken away that you could still do that, but I guess like that's gone already. So the only way you can get it is on eBay for your PS3 360, or get it through piracy.
That's it.
Yeah, if you want to, go ahead and do that. So, all right, so that's enough for that. Let's get to the next one. This is from Kotaku about Embracer. We love Embracer around here. They've canceled a new Deus Ex game. So those are the couple of Deus Ex games that have come out. So this one was under Embracer. Along with this, they also laid off some people from Eidos Montreal, which were the devs behind those Deus Ex games, as well as Tomb Raider and Guardians of the Galaxy. I think the Guardians of the Galaxy game did like good, but I guess it didn't sell well.
It was reviewed well. It did not sell well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was published by Square Enix. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like, yeah, Embracer, another. I don't know what's gonna happen to Embracer. I guess that $2 billion loan that they were gonna get just fell through. So like it's all falling apart. So I guess they're just trying to recoup the losses with this one. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have anything to say.
Fire sale type shit. Honestly, it's like it's basically just peel back on a lot of the money that they were going to spend. Clearly, it's kind of the move here, and like I think I'm going to be honest, like this is one of the least surprising Embracer headlines we've seen in a while, only because I know like Deus Ex has very passionate fans, but it's not like a huge seller and never really was. So I am not super surprised by this. I personally haven't been the biggest fan of the studio's games. Like I think they're okay overall. That's not exactly a ringing endorsement, but like I think that, obviously their games are just okay, but layoffs suck. So that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah, I played both of their Deus Ex games and the Tomb Raider game and Guardians of the Galaxy. I played too many games. I played all their games actually, but I would agree. Deus Ex is definitely, I mean, it's a franchise that spans back a long time and is a very, I would say, even iconic game from a long time ago on the PC. But those newer games were never super hot sellers. The second game actually came out and ended on a cliffhanger. And you may have noticed we never got a third game because that game sold so poorly. They were like, yeah, it's not even worth it. And then the Tomb Raider game, I think that they were like the B team for Tomb Raider. So there were two other Tomb Raider games, and then they produced the third one, and it was kind of the B Tomb Raider game. Guardians of the Galaxy I actually thought was really good. It was reviewed very well, and I thought it was marketed terribly. Before it came out, I thought that game looked really boring and really not fun. But after it came out, word of mouth spread. Reviews were really positive. I tried it out. Story, characters, there's a lot of really great stuff in that game. So this is a team that is like not untalented. They can still make at least good games. So it's really unfortunate to see them hit with layoffs. Again, this is just another day in the life of Embracer right now. They're struggling to figure out how to just keep things afloat and alive, it seems. And Deus Ex got caught in the crossfire. But I agree with Cam. This was honestly not the most surprising move. If I look at a team that historically probably doesn't make the best-selling games and a series that they're currently making that doesn't historically sell very well, yeah, I'd probably start cutting things there too. So it's unfortunate. They're one of the bigger devs, and they've made some of the bigger games that Embracer has access to, but it honestly isn't too big of a shock.
Yeah. I never played any of the Deus Ex games. You said you played them, right? So, like, what can you give me, like, quick recommendation on any of them?
They're good. If you like, say something like Dishonored, it's the same genre as Dishonored, and it's kind of based off of Deus Ex in a way. The Deus Ex is kind of the grandfather of that genre. So if you like something like Dishonored, go for it. If you don't. It's unfortunate because even Dishonored is a series that doesn't sell well. There's a reason you didn't get a third Dishonored game, and Dishonored 2 sold really, really poorly. And same with Prey. Prey, another game in the same genre, really flopped in just about every way except critically. But I would say if you like that kind of genre, you're good to go. If not, don't.
Got it. Yeah, I was thinking about like getting into the series, but I guess it just went by me. But yeah, no new Deus Ex game got canceled, so that's Embracer for you. So let's get on to the next topic. Talking about Suicide Squad, which just came out about a week ago. So this is like the news looter shooter live service, I guess, game from Rocksteady. It came out to like okay reviews. I was surprised that it was like in the 60s, probably like high 60s on like Metacritic. But like user reviews, I guess, like on Steam, it was like positive. I was surprised. So yeah, and this one they get half the day one players as Marvel's Avengers on Steam. Marvel's Avengers was a flop. You can't even get that game anymore. It was like $3 in the last week it was taken off. But yeah, Avengers had 30,000 players on day one. Suicide Squad had 13,000. And it's looking like it's weird because I think on Steam I don't think it was really that popular, but like on the consoles, like I was looking on PSN, it was like second in top 10 for like the US. And then it's like in 5th place now. It's like right up there with like the sports games, which was surprising to me. But we'll see how it fares later on, because I think this is just like the hype for like the first month, and they're supposed to be updating. Like they got Joker coming up next for their first season, and they also got like some extra skins for like Deadshot or whatever. I'm not interested in this one at all. I'm skipping this one. It's at $70, so it's got like a lot, like a hefty price to get in. But yeah, I mean, are you interested in Suicide Squad, Henry? So are you interested in any of the IP and like Warner Brothers and like Batman and stuff?
I'm not really, to be quite frank. I think Batman's like the closest thing I have to like enjoying DC as a brand as a whole. Obviously, their movies have not done very well. They're completely rebooting their entire cinematic universe. In all honesty, I just feel like mostly DC is like Marvel, but without personality. That can be a hot take for sure, but that's just kind of how it comes across to me. But no, not interested in Suicide Squad either. Obviously, I didn't see the movie. I've never read the comics or anything like that. The movie was supposed to be not very good either.
I remember it was a movie.
Sorry, you saying something, Alexis?
Yeah, I forgot there was a movie.
There's two.
There's two.
There's two movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And technically a spin-off series as well. There's a lot going on with Suicide Squad, but I love Rocksteady. I think their previous games, the Batman Arkham series, are honestly some of the best action games ever made. So it's really sad to see this kind of product being pushed out by them. From what I like about the Rocksteady games, or the Batman Arkham games, I like how their stories are, and their linear sequences within those stories. And from what I understand, Suicide Squad is pretty much a live service game through and through. Like I think I've watched a review, and apparently there's only like 30 minutes of like actual story-based missions. And it's like the first mission where they're like introducing you to the game, and that's it. And the rest of the game's missions are these live service games like defend a point, or like capture this, move this item here to there, that kind of stuff, which I am certainly not interested in. That's way outside my wheelhouse, and in all honesty, just doesn't seem very interesting for what this game has going on. There's not much for me here, I'd say. Even if this game gets updated, I don't see them fixing the problems that I have, which is the game's story mode not being very good. Reviewers, like you said, are mixed. I think that the player base for this is probably not going to recover. If it was going to be good, it was going to be good day one. But that's my take. Cam, what about you?
I honestly think you said it best, and you said it better than I could have, because like my feelings on this pretty much almost identically align with yours, Henry. I think like I'm coming from a place where I don't really care for a lot of Marvel DC stuff in general, like I would say at all. Not that I don't watch them every now and then, but I'm not really invested in those universes. I just personally don't really care much. So it was already a hard sell for me right off the bat. And then seeing like the preview coverage, I kind of was trash talking this game back on our first episode. And like, I watched somebody streaming this game for like probably 30 minutes a few days ago, and it looked exactly as I expected it to look. And it's funny you mentioned the story being kind of a drawback to this game, because the 30 minutes that I watched, one of the cutscenes was done very poorly, and both the person that I was watching play the game and myself were just sitting there, because I had it off on the side while I was doing something else. I was like, what is going on right now? Like, the way that they present the story in this game is just so clunky, so bad. I think, Alexis, you said you were kind of surprised that the reviews were where they're at.
Yeah.
Just in terms of being like high 60s. I kind of agree with you in the sense that like I'm actually a little surprised it's not worse from what I've seen, just because this game looks very hollow. Kind of like you were saying, Henry, it's not at all up my wheelhouse. So I can assure you I will not be playing this game, but just this whole launch debacle that it had, it's like, this is just more fuel on the fire for people that are going to hate on this game. So I think it's dead in the water. I think the player counts show that, and Does anybody remember Gotham Knights?
Oh, yeah.
I think we're in for another Gotham Knights in terms of the player base falling off. That's just my opinion. So
Yeah, I remember
I think
Gotham Knights.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go for it.
yeah. I'll say Gotham Knights. That was on the PS3, right? Or around
No,
there.
PS4.
Oh, no,
PS5.
that's recent. Yeah.
Gotham Knights. Oh, you know what? I'm talking about Gotham Imposters, which is like a multiplayer game.
Oh,
something else.
Yeah.
man. Wow.
Very
What a
different.
callback.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just noticed. But yeah, Gotham Knights. Yeah, that one looks fun though. I think that's the different one that I think looks better than Suicide Squad. But I'm just not interested.
Yeah, reviews are better.
Yeah, and I think both are live service, which is dumb.
Mm-hmm.
This one's definitely way more live servicey.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think the other one's kind of more
Yeah.
in line with like a traditional Arkham game. This one is way more like a Destiny or anything kind of similar to that. I think it's also worth noting that early access players, you had to buy a $100 deluxe edition to get in for like an extra 3 days early, which is like a new thing that the game industry is trying to push. And the game had a bug that automatically completed the game when you started it up if you were one of those players. So they had to take the game down for $12 or for 12 hours and gave players $20 of in-game currency as like a whoopsie. Which is just like, insult to injury here. This is clearly a studio that shouldn't have been making live service games. It's a single player focused studio that's all their experience is in. And this is just another, like Warner Brothers is kind of one of the more money hungry companies out there in terms of their video game publishing. And this was them just trying to get on the live service gold rush. And I think unfortunately Rocksteady got caught in the crossfire here. And hopefully they'll be able to work on something not Suicide Squad in the future. And I think Warner Bros. Is going to let this die. It's one thing when it's like an IP, like if a Harry Potter game was going to die, like I think Warner Brothers would have put millions of dollars into fixing it. I think Suicide Squad is an IP they're okay with letting linger a little bit, so they're okay with letting this one fall off.
Yeah, the currency was Luther coins. If you're interested.
Yeah, Lex Luthor coins.
Lex Luthor coins.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I predict this game will shut down in about 2 years. I think it's gonna be too expensive to maintain.
Oh, I think you're being generous.
I think
2 years is too long.
No way.
But we'll see.
I think it's selling a lot.
see.
Like right now, I think it's selling more than Avengers.
Oh
at
yeah,
least.
yeah. No, just that's the thing, right? Is like these superhero games, they do sell well generally. Not everyone, but they do generally sell well. It's just maintaining the player base is always been a huge issue. Like Avengers sales numbers were amazing, but like the amount of people playing it a month later, right, was a huge issue. And when you design the game around people continuing to play and put money in, that's a big problem.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they're expensive to make. I think Avengers was like 200 mil, or Square Enix lost like $200 million. So.
Yeah, they also had to pay a butt ton for the Marvel IP. That was a huge problem for them.
Yeah,
Warner Brothers at least owns Suicide Squad, so they don't have to pay anything for that.
Yeah.
Marvel is the opposite problem.
Yeah, I know Insomniac or Sony, they pay a lot to get Spider-Man. I think the PS5 consoles that were bundled with Spider-Man 2, they gave 50% of it to Marvel, so it's expensive.
Because I think Sony's
Wow.
in deep with Spider-Man though, because they own the movie rights. So Marvel's kind of beholden to Sony in that way.
Yeah. All right, that's all we got to say about Suicide Squad. Let's get into another live service game, Call of Duty. This is about the Call of Duty devs. They're talking about how matchmaking is done. I guess like for like matchmaking, I guess a lot of players complain that it's too difficult. All right, so the factors that are included in Call of Duty matchmaking is connection, matchmaking, start times, playlist, diversity, recent maps and modes, skill, performance, your input devices, I guess. So like mouse and keyboard, I guess is a factor. Yeah. Also, this is voice chat is enabled or disabled. I don't know if that one actually counts because I feel like a lot of people game chat are not talking, so they're usually like in a party chat or whatever. Yeah, I haven't really played Call of Duty. I think I just fell off of it like from Black Ops 3, which is like a long time ago. And I had no problem with the matchmaking, but I guess a lot of people are complaining about how difficult their matches have been, or like how players are too good at this game. And the one thing I'll say is that those kids that you were like shitting on like Call of Duty MW2 like back in the day, or like Black Ops 1, they're all grown up now. So them kids, they're getting better. They're not gonna stay at the same skill. So I think just people are just better like at games now compared to back then. You have like YouTube, you got streaming. Everybody wants to be a streamer, and they're just more motivated at it. Yeah, I don't know if you guys are interested in like Call of Duty with this.
Yeah, I'm kind of similar to you. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm kind of similar to you, where like I've fallen off Call of Duty like a while back. I would say for me, honestly, it goes all the way back to like Modern Warfare 2 is really the last one that I played a ton of, and like I do so. This article, about the matchmaking, I do find this kind of stuff really interesting. But Call of Duty itself, it is what it is. Not my thing, but also, sells like bananas. So clearly a lot of people's thing. But I did find it interesting to read about this, even though I don't play it. So kind of cool article.
Yeah, that was the same with me. I fell off of Call of Duty a long time ago, too. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 was the last one I played seriously, I think. So very similar there. I did pick up Modern Warfare, the reboot, a while ago, because I was like, I really enjoyed the first game way back in the day. I'll see what's going on now. It's the same thing. But I sucked at Call of Duty way back in the day. And this is it's undeniable that this is like a huge juggernaut within the industry. So understanding how Call of Duty works is very interesting, because if somebody's going to figure out how to do matchmaking right, it's clearly the guys who do Call of Duty. So I thought this was a really interesting, just kind of a understanding design behind the game standpoint as well, because you always have people, even in the competitive community, that are like, the matchmaking sucks. Like how are they deciding this? Yep. And as somebody who sucks at the game, I know that I tried to get into multiplayer at Call of Duty a long time ago. I think I played 2 or 3 matches, and I just got absolutely dominated every single match. And I was like, okay, this is done. I'm done. Like I don't need to keep going with this. This isn't very fun. Which is where some interesting stuff comes in. So obviously the stats that Alexis mentioned were some of the reasons that they how they matchmake people, but skill, they determine skill as your kill to death ratio, your win to loss ratio, the mode you select, and your recent match performance. So like, for instance, if you had like a bad day, like, maybe you're hungover or something like that, and you can't perform well, so your recent matches comparative to your overall. I obviously don't have a very high skill level because I died a lot and didn't kill very many people. And unsurprisingly, their stats show that if you have a lower skill rating, you're probably going to drop the game. So it's interesting that stuff is that way. You think they'd find a way to balance it a little bit better to not push lower level people like me out. But clearly that's still a problem that every multiplayer game is going to face. Another thing that they faced backlash for a long time ago was they introduced loot boxes into their games, so you could buy a loot box or in-game purchases and have a skin or a weapon or something that other players wouldn't have. And people were really concerned that was going to affect, like, if you had a skin. That was actually something I think that Activision patented a long time ago, was if you have a skin, you would be put in lobbies with people without skins, so that people who don't have skins would be more tempted to buy those skins, which is super scummy. But they said the in-game purchases do not affect anything at all. Hopefully they're being honest about that, but I found all of it very interesting. So that's why I thought it'd be cool to talk about.
Yeah, for the in-game purchases, I think it's just skins now. You can't get guns. Or actually, I think you could get guns, but like they're like in the battle pass or whatever. I know when I played like Black Ops 3, there was like, it was at that time when you said that they introduced like loot boxes and stuff. And like in the loot boxes, there were like OP as weapons. I'm talking about like dual wheel crossbows that like one shot like anybody. And there's like a shotgun that was like could kill you like across the map or whatever. This was like in like Black Ops 3, so I don't think they do that anymore. I also don't believe, or actually I do believe that they don't use the in-game purchases because they're all just skins. I mean, people are going to buy like the Michael Myers skin or the Scream face skin or John Wick. They got John Wick in COD now. Yeah, I don't believe that people get mad at this. But yeah, Call of Duty, I mean, I'm not interested in it anymore. I'll just wait till like they remake an old game maybe and see how like the reviews go. But it's like low on my priority list. So
Sure.
yeah, Call of Duty not with it. So let's get to another live service. Talking about Fortnite, right? We're talking about like John Wick skins and stuff. So Fortnite, they're collabing with Disney and Epic Games. So they're all together, and they're investing $1.5 billion in this project. So they're gonna collaborate like on new games and entertainment, and they're gonna add them into Fortnite. Yeah, I mean they have like Disney skins in Fortnite already, like Star Wars. I don't know what else. I think it might be like Indiana Jones or whatever.
They got all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh God, everything's in there now. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
insane.
So I mean, it makes sense, but I guess they're investing like $1.5 billion. And there's like a funny quote from the CEO of Disney. I think his name is Bob Iger or whatever.
Yeah.
He said that he was surprised that people are playing video games a lot. He's like, oh, people are playing video games a lot, just like TV and the films back in the day. I'm like, bro, we've been playing games for like a long time, and I guess he's just recognizing that. And I guess like with the rise of live service and like Fortnite getting popular and stuff, that he sees that now. So we'll see what they add to Fortnite. Maybe I know Fortnite has like different game modes and stuff, and like stuff like that. So they might be like investing in that. I don't know if you guys are ready for Disney and Fortnite. If you're interested at all, Henry.
Yeah, I think one small correction on that. So Disney is investing 1.5 billion into Epic Games itself, not necessarily Fortnite. So there's obviously a lot more going on with Epic Games, like their Epic Games store, and they make other games outside of Fortnite as well. But obviously Fortnite is what they're getting their money in there for, because they want them to make essentially a metaverse for them, which is what Fortnite has more or less become. I don't know how close you guys follow Fortnite, but I mean, there's concerts in there. There's literally like museums in there. There's like a Martin Luther King Jr. museum, I think, for Black History last year. Like it's become a whole nother thing now. So what Disney wants is essentially a metaverse where people can go in, hang out with your Disney Mickey Mouse, and buy a movie or something like that, and or something along those lines. We really don't know yet exactly what they're doing, but they're essentially just going to partner with Fortnite on this, and with Epic on this, and you're definitely going to see a lot more characters from like Fortnite, from Disney in Fortnite now. Disney obviously is going to have a lot bigger control over Epic and what they do, and Disney has already honestly been super close with Fortnite. I don't know if you guys ever heard of like the Thanos event that they had when like the Avengers movie came out a long time ago.
Oh yeah,
that was really big for Fortnite and really big for Disney as well. So I mean, and ever since then, every time you log into Fortnite, there's a new Disney skin or a Marvel skin or something like that. So it's just going to be even more omnipresent in that particular series now. And I also found it kind of funny, Bob Iger saying, hey, there's a lot of people out there playing video games right now. Like, he I think he was quoting a study that he saw that like millennials and younger spend at least an equivalent amount of time watching movies and TV as they do playing video games now, which is probably pretty accurate, at least for me. So, he was surprised by that, but, I think that's just what happens when you have a really old executive in, power. They're probably just not going to know a lot about that. But Cam, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think this is kind of this is the classic case of like old businessman who hasn't quite like updated his knowledge base on certain things. We've seen this pretty often throughout history, I would say, but in general throughout like gaming history, where you have these, individuals where they just basically come out and say like, oh, I didn't realize gaming was such a huge thing. And then they throw some massive amount of money at it. So I think the concept of this is actually really cool. Epic and Disney combining to make like you said, like a metaverse, like a Disney metaverse is a cool idea. I think it's a smart move for Disney because they have tried a few times to do these kind of like, shared universe, like, oh, everybody comes here and hangs out type of games. And they just haven't like done super well. I know they've made an okayish amount of money from their perspective, but nothing is sort of blown up. They had that game last year that came out where you could make like a little. It's almost like an Animal Crossing type of game where you kind of just like had your little house and you would like farm with Donald Duck and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's a smart move for both parties, obviously, but Disney in particular. And I mean, Epic's clearly capable of doing something like this. So I think this is kind of a win-win for everybody involved in this. And I think this thing is going to be massive once it comes around, which I know they're saying, they're calling it a multi-year project. I wouldn't expect to hear much from this for a while.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're going to invest a lot of time into it. So
yeah,
there'll probably also be long, live service kind of Fortnite-y. So multi-year probably just be long tail in there. Yeah.
Yeah, good thing you brought up that they're partnering with Epic and not just Fortnite, because there's a lot of people like speculating that Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to be an Epic Games exclusive for PC. So a lot of people are scared of that. Woo. And because the games are still not on Steam, the only way to get them is like on Epic. So,
oh yeah, that's right.
Yep.
So people are speculating Kingdom Hearts 4 on Epic.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right, that's enough for Fortnite. We'll see how that turns out in a couple of years. This is an interesting one that just happened a couple of days ago about Tencent. They're working on an Elden Ring mobile game for some reason. It's going to be free to play with in-app purchases. It's going to be similar to Genshin Impact, which is another live service game, gacha game, where you summon and get like stuff, characters and things like that. This is slow in progress, so I'm not sure we're going to be seeing it for a while, but they might cancel it in the time that they start working on it. But I'm confused about this one. I think the one thing about Elden Ring was that it's like a complete package. There's like no DLC or microtransactions. So like everything you get is like in that whole game is $60. So I don't know how I saw a lot of like negativity around this. So I don't think it's gonna fare well. But I think it'll be popular enough if it comes out. But in-app purchases, I was thinking about like what are they gonna make you buy in this game?
Yeah, what do you even do?
Same.
Yeah, what are you gonna buy armor and stuff? Because like the one thing about like wait, what'd you say?
Oh, I was laughing with you because I'm like, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, what are you going to buy lives or something?
Oh,
like, are you going to buy your souls back?
Don't
or
scare me
I
like
forget what they're called in Elden Ring.
Oh my god, yeah. So like there's like you get your armor, you get your like runes or whatever. That's what they're calling this game.
Runes,
armor, characters, stuff like that. I think the lives one is funny because I think that could actually happen, where you just buy like 10 lives for like $3 or whatever.
Stop, man, stop. You have to pay to light the bonfire.
Oh my god.
Or the grace,
Jeez.
I should say. It's like $1 per grace.
Yeah. It says it's similar to Genshin Impact, so I don't know if they mean like in the style of that or like, because I know in Genshin you summon characters and like that you could play as them and they have like unique abilities and stuff.
That's what I would
so
think,
I think they elaborated on it, and they specifically are kind of referring to just the fact that it was in-app purchases.
Okay.
I think the Genshin Impact was sort of a I'm blanking on the word right now, but where it's kind of like search optimization when you Google something, because it's basically them stating like, oh, it's going to be sort of designed like a mobile version of Elden Ring, but with in-app purchases. So I think it's not going to necessarily be like, hey, have a 5-star, Radon summon type of thing. Like, I don't think it's going to be like that, but I mean, it's still funny to think about. Like, I truly do not understand what you would have in-app purchases for Elden Ring. I can't even begin to guess until I see something more concrete. Because, I mean, we're joking about it, but I played that game, and I'm like, I don't know what you would have like as an in-app purchase for that game. It's really weird.
Right. And the core of the game is like you're just finding armor, spells and stuff, and that's like part of the game. It's like exploring. So the lives thing I think is that, or the the stone sword keys to like get into dungeons and stuff.
Oh
yeah, I can see that.
That is an angle.
Yeah, it's a confusing decision in general. I think, like Alexis was saying, I think Tencent has a history with this. So they also made like a Nier Automata, or Automata, however you say that. But they made like a a similar style game like that, but they canceled it midway through development. So they have a history of kind of saying we're going to do this and then never actually following through with it. So this could honestly just be a cheap threat by Tencent in trying to make an Elden Ring mobile game. But yeah, I think you kind of hitting on some stuff there. I think honestly, I'm glad you clarified the Genshin Impact, how they quoted that, because yeah, I was thinking a 5-star Rodon summon for sure. I was like, this is going to be weird. But when you say something like, yeah, well, maybe you can maybe purchase a better sword, or you can purchase more lives or something like that. I see that business model being a lot more acceptable, or at least a lot more predictable and understandable. But at the end of the day, I think, a lot of people pushed back on this because, I think one of the defining characteristics of every FromSoft game, including Elden Ring, is its difficulty. And if you have the point of a free-to-play game like that is to probably make the game easier by making in-game purchases, which is against the initial design of the game in general. So I think a lot of the pushback in general has to do with the fan base just being so difficulty hungry that they are probably not happy with that at all. I think just in general, messing with the purity of FromSoft is something that its fans really get up in arms about. And this is most definitely messing with the purity of it. It would completely change it from a fundamental standpoint. I even don't know how exactly you do it, but maybe we'll find out. Hopefully we won't. I don't know.
Right. We'll keep our eyes on this. I'm interested in this one and see how it plays out. So it's slow in progress, so we're not going to be able to see it for like a couple more years. And it might get canceled. You never know, like you said, with Nier Automata. So, yep. All right, let's get into one of our biggest segments for this week. The PlayStation State of Play, which just happened, was it last week or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like last Wednesday. Huge event for PlayStation, and they show like a lot of new games. Also like updates on existing games that were already announced. Let's get started. Yeah. So they started off with Helldivers 2, which came out today, February 8th. And I guess the reviews people have been having issues with like servers, but apart from that, I guess it's pretty fun. So they started off the show with that. I don't know if you guys have any opinions about Helldivers 2.
I played the first one.
Yeah, I've kind of...
Yeah, hey, go ahead, Cam.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, I did not play the first one, but I was gonna say I actually like. I think we talked about this episode or two ago, just in terms of me not playing like multiplayer games a ton lately, and I would say like the past like year or two. I actually let my PlayStation like online lapse because I was like, I'm not playing online, so like, why even keep this thing up? So I wouldn't be able to maximize my enjoyment of this game anyways, unless obviously I re-upped. But yeah, I mean, it looks cool to me, but again, it's just kind of out of my wheelhouse, to be honest. But yeah, Henry, what were you saying?
Yeah, I played the first one. This is a massive change from the first game. The first game is like a top-down isometric shooter, like very different from what the second one is now, being a like third-person shooter action game. I think the style in general is pretty similar. So the big hook for the first game was you play it's a multiplayer like kind of like run and gun shooter, like extraction shooter. That's probably the best word, extraction shooter, where you're trying to grab some loot and take it out, but there's friendly fire on. That was like the big challenge in the first game, was you could easily kill your teammates, and it just led to a lot of chaos. I haven't really been following the second one because you really do need like people to play it with, and I just don't think any of my friends are going to be interested in playing it. So it's definitely a pass for me, but I hope people enjoy it. I hope it turns out good. Reviews are still definitely trickling in, so we don't know exactly what the reception is to it yet, but hopefully it's a good one.
Yep. Helldivers 2, if you need a multiplayer game, there you go. It's on a PS5 and PC. Next game was Stellar Blade. I'm surprised this is coming out this year, or like earlier this year, which is on April 26th. And they showed a lot, I guess. I think I was like more interested in like the world and everything. They showed a bit of combat, I think. It wasn't really in depth with their combat. We're gonna have to see more of like how that plays out. but I think that I have this on my radar from when they announced it like a couple years ago when it was called Project Eve, and it's April 26th. Stellar Blade. I think I'm going to buy this when the reviews come out and see if it's a positive reception. I don't know what do you think about this one, Cameron?
It looks interesting. I know that some people are freaking out about the protagonist design. I don't know if you guys have heard about that. I think it's kind of hilarious, honestly. There's always something, I feel like, in the gaming space that's dramatic.
What exactly are they saying? What's wrong with it?
It's
just over sexualized.
The sexualization. Yeah.
I get it.
Some people are up in arms about that. I mean, I think, like, you know, to your point, Alexis, as far as, you know, the way the game looks, I think it actually looks pretty cool too. These type of games are tricky for me. It's a very mood based thing. So, like, you know, whether or not I'll check it out, it really just depends. I feel like I play like one of these type of games like every few months. Mm-hmm. And so maybe this is the next one that's going to come up. But, yeah, for now, I think it's a cool, like, wait and see type of thing for me. But everything I've seen so far, like, it looks pretty good, and, like, it's got, like, an interesting, like, style to it. So I'm curious.
Yeah, for me, I kind of agree. It looks pretty good. I was not really interested before this state of play because this developer is it's pretty much unknown. Either that or they've worked on some smaller things, but nothing. I mean, this is easily the biggest thing they've ever done. I think they've done a couple of smaller mobile games before. And so it's a very untested untested developer. And I typically just kind of hold off until reviews for that. Everything they had shown prior to that was like, this is a game with a woman with a butt in it. And that was all I kind of knew about it. And, kind of touching on this over-sexualization that Cam was referring to. But this trailer that I saw, it actually did look like it was pretty interesting. More so than just the female protagonist, the action actually looked really cool. And they actually came out and said, oh, yeah, we were heavily inspired by like Nier Automata, and I can see a lot of it. Like walking around in the camp and stuff, just the direction in general, it looks like there are a lot of beats taken from that game, and that game is obviously known to be pretty good. So it piqued my interest a little bit more, but this is still definitely a game I'm going to wait till reviews for. It could really go either way from what I think, so I'm just going to watch it tentatively from the sides.
Yeah, my biggest question is with the combat, so...
Yeah, the biggest thing to question about, right? The gameplay in a game.
Yeah, and it's coming out in a few months, so we'll see how that fares out. The next one, I don't know if you guys are interested in this one, Sonic X Shadow Generations, or Sonic Cross Shadow Generations. This is a remaster, or like a director's cut of Sonic Generations, which came out on the PS3 360. I think this one might be a day one buy. Sonic Generations, I think this is like one of the best modern Sonic games that have come out. It just like captures everything that's like good about Sonic. So it's just like speeding through levels and stuff, and like you're fast. The game still looks good even though it came out like a long time ago, or like 10 years ago. I'm keeping my eye on this one. This might be a day one buy in the Shadow Generation. So that's like extra DLC for this one. So like sort of like the update, but it also comes with like the full game. It comes out in fall 2024. I don't know if you guys are like into Sonic, or if you played this before. What about Henry? You played this before?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that whoever likes Sonic is honestly a total loser.
Okay.
It's just the worst series ever. No, I'm just kidding. I love Sonic. Unfortunately, I think that I have played Generations. It's easily the best modern Sonic game around. I think Sonic gets a lot of a bad rap, and honestly, for a lot of good reason. The series has had a lot of turbulation in its quality, and just in general being like having any idea what it wants to do with itself. The most recent game, Frontier, was definitely like they sold a beta test, like an alpha version of the next Sonic game they want to make for $60. Sonic 06 is obviously known as being like one of the worst games of all time. But then you do have games like Sonic Adventure, or depending on who you ask, like one of the original Sonic Mania, or to me, Sonic Generations, which is really, really good. I think a lot of people like Sonic Colors as well, which I enjoyed. I don't know if I want to buy this game day one, but I'm a little disappointed that there's not more here. What I really would have wanted to see after, I mean, this game came out easily like a decade ago. It's somewhere around then. And I would have expected a Sonic Generations 2 here, not a Sonic Generations plus a couple of extra shadow levels. So I'm a little disappointed by that, but in all honesty, yeah, I'll definitely be buying it. It's unfortunate, like that series has me by the balls. So I'm unfortunately going to probably be buying this too. Hopefully not day one. I'll probably wait a little bit, but yeah, I'll definitely be playing it at some point.
Mm-hmm. Cameron, you got something to say about Sonic?
I'll do you. Yeah, I'll do the honors of you wishing you could hold back from buying this day one. I will not buy this day one.
There we go.
So I'll do that for you.
There was no way two out of three of us would actually like Sonic. There's no way.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's just kind of the truth there, isn't it? But yeah, no, I haven't played a Sonic game in quite some time. I fully disagree with Henry. Sonic 06 is one of the best games of all time, not worse.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
Yeah. No, definitely kidding on that. It's awful. But yeah, no, I haven't played a Sonic game in a while. I actually have had some fun with Sonic throughout the years. Like I actually loved Sonic Adventure 2 Battle when I was younger, and I replayed it like probably, I don't know, a year and a half ago maybe, and I actually had a lot of fun again with the game. But like I feel just in general that Sonic for me is like I'll play the ones that I played when I was younger for nostalgia reasons, but I'm not really interested in like the newer ones, I would say. And like Frontiers is Frontiers is funny bringing it up because when I saw that I was like, I think if I was a fan of the series, I would have been very excited because it did look pretty good to me for a fan of the series. But as somebody who's not like super in tune with Sonic, I was just kind of like, I feel like this is maybe a pass, but heard like generally good things about it. So for this one, I've heard good things about Sonic Generations, but overall, this is probably a skip for me, to be honest.
Got it. Yeah. You know what? Because you said you got mad at us for saying it's a day one buy. I forgot it's a Sega title, so it might go on discount like a month later. So we'll see about this one. I also like with Henry, you said that they should have made a second game. I fucking agree with that because the shadow levels, I don't know how long they're gonna be. There's like some leaks or something that said it's longer than you think, but probably like 3 or 4 hours.
I mean, the thing about it is like Shadow is not like a huge character that's playable in the games. He's playable in Sonic 2 or Sonic Adventure 2, and then the Shadow the Hedgehog game, which I don't know if they're going to be pulling from that. I guess they will. They'll have to because there's just not much. There's not much content with Shadow in it, to be quite frank. So
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see. No idea there.
You said Shadow game, the one with the guns and stuff.
Yeah, the one with the guns.
Yeah, there's an enemy in there that was in the trailer for this one. So.
Oh well, then there you go. They're definitely pulling from it then.
Yeah.
No doubt.
All right, Sonic Generations, Sonic X Shadow Generations coming later this year. We got Zenless Zone Zero, which was a game I drafted last episode. No release date on this one, but it's coming out this year. It's from the MiHoYo team, from the made Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail, stuff like that. So it's a gacha game, but they showed, I feel like I always see this game at like the Game Awards or like the State of Plays or whatever. I'm just waiting for it to come out. I think I saw something that they have like Spider-Man movement, which I think looks fun, but if it's free to play, I'll check it out for sure. I don't know if you guys are like interested into like these types of games.
Not really with the live
Honestly,
service for me. Yeah.
Yeah, live service.
Same. Yeah, it's like this is not on my radar, I would say. But I mean, I think there's absolutely an audience for them, but I just personally am like, I like to just play something knowing that like it'll be done, and as soon as it's done I can move on to the next game. Not to say like I rush through anything, but I like having an end in sight, and like for example Genshin, when they like add new content all the time, I'm like, to me that's just, I'm like, I have a hard enough time playing DLC when I beat a game. I still haven't played the Witcher 3 DLC, for example, but like I have a hard enough time going back to a game for DLC. There's no way I could keep up with like these ongoing games that go for like a year and a half. There's just no way.
Yeah, I almost completely agree with that sentiment. Yeah, I don't like necessarily revisiting games. Normally, games as a service are a little bit easier in reintroducing a player than say a single player game that builds up over the course of a 20-hour campaign or something like that. But at the end of the day, yeah, I love having an end. Like I cannot agree with that more. I like having an end in sight. I like knowing that I can complete something. I'm kind of a completionist in that way. Live service games turn me off in that way for sure. They can still be a fun thing to go back to, but to me, a lot of times they're a job, and I don't love that aspect. But I think I've said previously, and I'll stand by it, like, if there was a live service genre I would get into, the Hoyo team, who's done, Genshin Impact and Zenless Zone Zero and Honkai Star Rail, which have all been very well received and do very, very well. They'd be probably the first ones I would go to. That will probably never happen, though, because, like I said, these games are a job, and I already have a job just trying to get through my backlog, so it's not looking pretty anytime soon, but that's me.
Yeah, I feel you. I think when I played Genshin, it was a lot of fun, but it wants you to spend money to get all these characters, and they're always updating it, so you don't know what's going on when you return. So yeah, Zenless Zone Zero, keep an eye on this one. I think I might be playing that when it comes out. Next we got a couple, we can get through these quick. Foam Stars, have you guys played this or not, or you're not interested at all?
I'm definitely going to play it. I mean, it's free on PlayStation Plus, so I have access to it, and I've heard preview coverage was good. I honestly hadn't seen the reviews yet. Apparently, we're hearing it's coming in at 6 or a 7, which is unfortunate, because it's very obviously based on Splatoon, or almost like ripping off Splatoon is maybe a better way of saying that. But I really like the idea, at least, of Splatoon, and I wouldn't mind seeing something like Foam Stars succeed or have access to it in an easier way than just going to my Switch and playing Splatoon all the time, or ever. I don't really go back to it very much, but I do like the idea of it. But I'll definitely get around to trying it eventually, just have not had the time. But, it's literally sitting there on my hard drive right now, so I'll get to it eventually, though.
Mm-hmm. Got anything to say about this one, Cameron? Or you're not interested at all because it's live service?
Yeah, I would say that's pretty accurate,
Mm.
honestly. That's a good way to sum it up.
All right. So, yeah, Foam Stars, I think it was pretty dumb of them not to put it on, like, on Xbox at least. I don't know. Is it on PC? I'm not sure, but I don't think so. But it would have been a good get for Game Pass. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see how long the game stays alive. We got Dave the Diver. I don't know if you guys have heard of this or played it. They got a new Godzilla DLC coming out the month after. It comes out on a PS5. I think I'm interested in this. I think I might be able to buy this one. I've just been waiting for it to come out on PlayStation. It's only like $20, I think, or it's pretty cheap.
It's cheap.
And yeah, from what I saw, it's sort of like 2 games in one. So it's like you go hunting, you find like food for your restaurant, and then you cook stuff for your customers. Sort of like a Flash game. This is what I like to explain. But yeah, this one. Are you interested in Dave the Diver? Anybody?
I actually am. I've heard pretty good things about it. I haven't checked it out myself yet, but the Godzilla DLC trailer, that was actually pretty funny to me, and I was like, okay, I could see myself playing this. I just looked out of curiosity. I just Googled Dave the Diver live here, and did not realize how good the reviews are.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew it was well
Very
regarded,
good.
but my God, dude, the reviews are phenomenal. So yeah, no, I'm definitely interested in, like, I'm in for Dave the Diver, and I'm in for Godzilla. I'm always in for Godzilla. The new movie is really good.
Oh yeah.
So
Mine is
Yeah,
zero,
I've
right?
heard great things about the new Godzilla movie. Yeah, which it's very interesting to see Godzilla kind of resurge like that. No pun intended. But yeah, Dave the Diver is definitely something that I'm definitely going to play eventually. Probably not on the PlayStation 5 because I already bought it on Steam. I just got it on sale during the winter sale for the Steam Deck. I heard great things about it. It looks like a fun game. Maybe I'll get around to the Godzilla DLC too. I don't know if it's free or not. But they've had interesting DLC pop up already. Like they had a Dredge crossover, an indie game from last year that was very well regarded. But this is a pretty small game. Controversial to say indie game, but it is it's definitely a small game. So it partnering with Godzilla is weird. I would even call it like wild that they were able to do that. And especially after it had such a big success with that movie, you'd think it would be really difficult for them to maintain rights on that or, get a deal going on that. But clearly they made it happen. So that looks really interesting. But that's all from me on that.
Got it. Coming out April this year. I don't know what we're going to do with Godzilla. Are we going to cook him alive or are we serving him as a customer? We'll see. V Rising.
Both.
Yeah, both. Yeah, for sure. Both. V Rising. I think this one was the one I got really disinterested in. I hear people love this game, so I got zero opinions on this one except it's like top down, dark fantasy, I guess. Yeah, sort of like dungeon crawling, I guess. But yeah, it's coming out later this year on PS5. If you guys are like interested in V Rising at all?
To be honest, I don't even remember this.
Yeah,
right. that's funny. Honestly, like I have heard, obviously we're all pretty in tune with the gaming industry. Like we've all heard this name like many times over the past couple of years, and like I've heard this name multiple times, and like I never really looked that far into it because I was just like, the premise didn't really sound that interesting to me. I actually was kind of interested in the show at the State of Play. Like I actually thought this was pretty cool looking, but the only thing that did turn me away a little bit, and I think it just necessitates me doing a little more research into the game, is had it described as like a survival game. Not super into survival games, so like if it's just straight up survival, then I'm probably out. But if it's a little bit more nuanced than that, a little bit more structured, I would say, then like maybe I'll check it out.
Yeah, I've heard the name around a few times. I genuinely can't remember what I saw for this though, so I'm not much help there. But yeah, if it is a survival game, I'm definitely out. I don't even like survival elements in my game. It's just too micromanage me.
Same.
Too micromanagey. So yeah, if that's the case, I probably will be skipping. But hopefully it's good.
Yeah, well, never doubt the creativity of naming schemes in video games. The V is for vampires, so that's a little bit of knowledge
Makes
for
sense.
you in this game.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right, V Rising later this year. Let's get into some of the biggest shows of this one. Silent Hill: A Short Message, which is a free-to-play demo, tech demo, sort of. I thought this was the live service game that. They were also like there's like another Silent Hill. It was like a live service.
Yeah, I thought it was a live service game too.
Yeah, I was like, I was like, what the fuck? And then it's like, it's just free. It's like a little demo you can try out. They're trying to do like their own PT. Yeah, this one, when I saw it, it looked kind of corny because it was talking about like social media and stuff. And like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm the target audience for this one. I know Henry, you played this one. If you want to like speak on this one,
I can. Yeah, so this game, Silent Hill, is obviously a very big franchise, and they also showed off Silent Hill 2 directly afterwards. But so a lot of Silent Hill in this direct or the State of Play, but this game has not been doing very well in reception. It's like at a 50 or a 53 on Metacritic. I see a lot of people dogging it. This is when they showed it off, they were like, "This is a free-to-play game." I thought that meant it was literally like a live service game. That term has clearly been like absolutely driven into the ground for me at this point because it's just a 2-hour begin to end free game that you can download. There's a beginning, middle, and end, and it is, we don't know if it's teasing another game yet. We don't find out anything about that throughout the game at all. But it was free, and I honestly wanted to play it for the podcast. I thought it was going to be funny because everybody was just dogging on it so much. I was like, it's 2 hours, it's free. What's the harm? It may be worth a laugh. I actually did not hate it. I think this game is fine. It's honestly fine. It's not bad. I would struggle to call it good, but I can definitely see some people maybe saying that, and I would certainly not call it great. But it is just It is a Silent Hill game about a teenage girl. And if you don't know much about Silent Hill, it's essentially like every game focuses on a character who's basically gone through some traumatizing stuff. And their experiences in Silent Hill kind of mirror that. And that's what you get here, is you get the experience of like a mental illness through the eyes of like a teenage girl, which I think is honestly like kind of an interesting angle for Silent Hill to tackle. This game does it at a very surface level. It's very short, like I said, so there's not much time to delve into it. I have a little sister though, and you know, she's kind of around the age, a little bit older, but she's kind of around the age of the girls that are in this game. And like I actually saw a lot of parallels here and a lot of interesting talking points that I think a lot of teenage girls have to deal with now. And it does a good job communicating those. It, again, doesn't delve into it very much, but I mean, I think a lot of people who are dogging on this are dogging on it because, let's be honest, like Konami is a freaking punching bag right now. Nobody likes them. They will not do, like, they can't do anything right, and they kind of deserve it. For those who don't remember, Konami is the owner of like a lot of massive IP, Silent Hill, Metal Gear, Castlevania, and they pretty much just completely pulled out of the gaming industry about a decade or a decade and a half ago and said, we don't need this anymore. We're good with like making gambling like pachinko machines.
Yeah, pachinko.
And it made a lot of people in the gaming industry mad because we could, I mean, like they pretty much held those IP captive. And so now they're finally coming back out. They're finally trying to display these IP again, and this is clearly not the way that the fans of these IP would want to see them. Obviously, people who like Silent Hill are not teenage girls, nor do they care about teenage girls. So this is not going to be a game that's going to resonate with them. It's very reminiscent of PT, which is kind of comical because like Kojima was featured later in this state of play, and he was somebody that they fired, or he left on like complicated terms because they were treating him poorly, and you know, like his last thing that he did for them was PT. So it's almost kind of ironic in a way that their version of PT is kind of in the exact same state of play as the one that Kojima was also in, talking about how good stuff is going for him in another totally different way. So at the end of the day, though, like this game's fine. I think it's getting like dogpiled on for a lot of different reasons, but in all honesty, like it's not bad, especially since it's free. It's really hard to complain about it. You can complain about it, certainly, but I mean, like there's just not much of a reason to. You can just not play it or pass on it or just say, yeah, that was unfortunate waste of my time. But yeah, dogpiling on it's a little weird to me. But what do you think, Cam?
Yeah, this is a tricky one for me because I haven't played it yet. I actually meant to, and then I got caught up with what I'll dive into in my impressions later. But yeah, I was curious about this. The word of mouth has obviously been not good. So I wondered, is it worth my time? But I still plan to and like kind of want to try it out just to see kind of what's going on here. I also think that, you know, for just throwing this out there, I absolutely loved PT. Like I still remember exactly the situation that I played that in and the friends that like I was hanging out with at the time. It was amazing little short little thing, but like I not 100% sure why people are using that to throw this down. I mean, I understand the through line, don't get me wrong, but it's like they couldn't be any more different from what I've seen. So it's like, you know, I think strictly just from the perspective of like the entire scope is different, right? It's not even the same guy making it. So I agree with you. I think that this is like a classic case of like, which I'm going to be honest, this like happens in gaming like pretty often, I feel like, and I'm sure I've been a victim to it as well, where, you know, it feels like when an opinion is formed on something, it cannot climb out of that hole in some cases. And it's like,
I get that.
I'm not sitting here saying like this game is perfect by any means. I've never even played it, but I also think that if the internet wasn't as big of a phenomenon as it was, I think you'd see probably a lot more like balanced reception to this. But once it kind of gets thrown on the ground, like it just keeps happening over and over and over. And there's been like plenty of games that's happened too. And so this is kind of a thing. But yeah, I plan on checking this out. I mean, maybe next episode I'll come back and talk about it, my impressions. Maybe I'll try to play it before then. But yeah, I have every intention of checking this out. And I know we're like kind of next up on the docket here is the Silent Hill 2 remake. I will say, now that is looking rough to me.
Oh, super rough.
I'll let you take us there, Alexis.
Yeah. So yes, for the short message, I think I have it downloaded. I just gotta like play it, so it just needs my time. So yeah, Silent Hill 2, which was showed after the short message. This is a PS5 exclusive for a year, and it's coming out supposedly this year. But after looking at the footage they showed, it was looking very rough. Very, very rough. I just don't think it's going to be coming out this year. Or I think it is next year for sure. When they showed it, it was like, I think they have like identity crisis of like what Silent Hill is about. I think they show like a lot of combat. And when they did show the combat, when they were like, I haven't really played Silent Hill 2. I think the main character, he started shooting his gun. And it sounded like a Nerf gun. It sounded very weak. And then he had like the board, and he was like hitting like the enemies. Do you know what their name is, Henry? Have you played it?
I played like 30 minutes of Silent Hill 2 once. I do not. I think they are just monsters.
Okay, we'll call them monsters. But I know the Pyramid Head is in there.
Yeah, definitely Pyramid Head.
Nurses too. Yeah, classic. Enemies,
and then they show the combat. It looked very, very rough. And I think people were saying it's like a poor man's Resident Evil, which is funny. Because I think Silent Hill, I think with Silent Hill, it's just like, I think it's based like on the atmosphere and everything. And I didn't get that feeling with it. They started playing like some music, some upbeat music. So it was very rough. I don't know if you Cameron, you were talking about like you said it's very, very rough. I mean, what do you want to say about Silent Hill 2?
Yeah, so we have mentioned this in one of the prior episodes, and like I know we had kind of all independently mentioned that we weren't how should I put this? We weren't super thrilled with the fact that it's being made by Bloober Team. And I think that this kind of tracks with what, my experiences with them / what I've heard from them for the games of theirs that I haven't played. This tracks, in my opinion. Like, they are just not kind of the best studio in terms of quality, and like you're seeing that here. When I'm alluding to it looking rough, like I think it's for me it's from all facets. Like you were saying, the identity crisis, I think that's a really good way of putting it. This is just my opinion. I think graphically it doesn't look good, which is kind of interesting because I don't know how you guys feel, but I've almost come to this point with modern day gaming where it's like, if you're going for, obviously there's different styles of graphics, right? Like Dave the Diver is not trying to look like a real human being, but like with games that are, there's a very high bar nowadays. You know what I mean? Like you play like RE4 Remake and the people look insanely good. And yes, is it fair to hold every game up to that graphical standard? No. But it's just going to happen. Like you do it unconsciously, right? And like I'm watching this Silent Hill 2 trailer and I'm like, man, this looks terrible. Like graphically it just didn't look good to me. And I mean, obviously fog is a huge part of Silent Hill. It's like iconic for fog, which sounds goofy, but if you've played them, it makes sense. And so, the fog, like to me, and this trailer was spot on. Like it's pretty cool how you can only see like so far ahead of you, but like on the flip side, if I'm praising the fog graphically and not much else, that's not the best thing, right? And I know some people have kind of been dogging on I think his name's James. I'm fairly confident his name's James, the main character. A lot of people have been kind of dogging on his actor actually already, and I think that's a little unfair because we have like very little exposure to him at all so far. But to me, I see the writing on the wall here, and I will be shocked. This is just my opinion. I will be shocked if this game is great. I'll be shocked if this game is very good. That's just me.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think not only us, but I think almost everybody who saw this was like, yeah, that doesn't look that good. Which falls in line with, like you were saying, everything else Bloober Team has pretty much ever done. It's been okay, kind of stuff. Graphics didn't look that great. There was like Alexis was saying, a large emphasis on combat, which Silent Hill is definitely not known for. If anything, like Silent Hill is known for having really horrible combat, which is supposed to add to like the like horror elements of like not being able to defend yourself in a tense situation. But yeah, I played a little bit. I played a few hours of the medium. This looks like the medium. I mean, the medium was basically Bloober Team's pitch to Konami to do a Silent Hill game. It was very reminiscent of it in a lot of ways, and I think this kind of ties back into the short message we were just talking about. Like I think this is a large reason of why people dogged on it, or another one of the reasons is because people saw this and said, well, this game isn't going to be very good. Konami clearly doesn't care about these IP. They're ruining another game that I love, and it was just another log to the fire on this. It doesn't look good. I am already not like a huge Silent Hill fan, but this is just kind of, it confirms to me in a lot of ways that Konami does not care about reviving these games as much as they probably should, and it probably should be a really big red flag to anybody who's looking forward to the next Metal Gear game, because it means Konami probably doesn't care as much about that either. So I'm a big Metal Gear fan, so I look at this and I say, like Konami has these legendary IP, and they don't really care about maintaining them very well, even when they're trying to bring them back, which this should be a big thing that they're bringing it back, but it needed more money, more time, a better development team, all of them, so unfortunate situation for this one here.
Yeah, Konami. I mean, you see why people were just like dogging on them, because they just let their IPs out there to Bloober Team. I guess it was funny because a lot of people were like, there's a lot of people that didn't have confidence, and I guess it just redeems that fact that Bloober Team was not the team they should have went with. But I guess it was just cheaper for Bloober Team compared to other developers. It was
definitely financial, no doubt.
Yeah, so like Konami didn't want to bring out the bags of money to get. So I don't know I don't know if this is gonna be like a high scoring game. Yeah, I'll be surprised, just like Cameron, if this scores like up above an 80. But I think it's gonna come out like next year for sure. I mean, it still said still in development on the trailer, so I'm predicting a 2025 release for that. All right, let's get to the next one. Judas. This is a BioShock-inspired game by Ken Levine, who was also the creative mind behind those games. For this one, I just really liked all the enemy variety and like the setting and everything. It's kind of hard to like see like when it takes place, but I just love like all the crazy stuff that's happening in this one. There's no release date on Judas, so we're not sure. It might not even come out next year, which is crazy. But I'm keeping my eye on this one since it's by Ken Levine, who was behind those BioShock games. I don't know, have you guys played BioShock before?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. What do you think about this one, Judas? Did this catch your eye?
I mean, yeah. You don't need to sell me on it. This was initially announced. All you have to tell me is this is the new game from Ken Levine, and I say okay. After seeing this is another BioShock game, which I'm not upset about at all. BioShock's one of the greatest games ever made. I love the BioShock series in general. I think Infinite is probably a little turbulent. It's not the best in the series. When it reviewed, it kind of came out. It was very highly praised, but I think probably a little overpraised. And then BioShock 2 was considered, it was like made by the B team, so a lot of people were kind of iffy on that too. But I definitely love the original BioShock, and I still think fondly of the whole series in general. But yeah, the gameplay here looked exactly like a BioShock game. It, like, the story and what they were showing off looked exactly like something Ken Levine would write. It's funny because like this has been in development for a really, really long time. This is the only thing Ken Levine's been working on since BioShock. And Ken Levine is kind of like one of the few auteurs that we have in the industry. He's kind of one of the few guys that people can look at and actually like name and say like that guy's a guy with creative vision that we really like think everything that he's going to make is going to be good. I think this is really going to cement him as that if it's really good, but it also I don't know if you guys have read anything about it, but a lot of reports have shown that he's not like he's a creative auteur in like the worst way. He's not a very good business person. Like his previous studios collapsed because he was indecisive with some of the decisions he was trying to make with the original BioShocks. Obviously, Judas has been in development for a really, 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 really long time. I've heard he's up to some really interesting stuff with it. But he's clearly not a very good leader. He's much more of an artist. But I don't know if that will come into affect the quality of Judas at all. But here's hoping it doesn't. This is a day one purchase for me. I'm highly looking forward to it. Cam, what do you think?
First of all, I didn't realize you were such a big BioShock fan. That's pretty cool, though. I actually just played them not too long ago. Sometime early last year, late 2022, I think. That collection, I highly recommend. The collection goes on sale for dirt cheap, and it's got all the games in it. So highly recommend that if anybody wants to pick that up. But I thought they held up really well, too, which was kind of surprising. You know, I was a little unsure of what to think, and I thought they held up really well. But yeah, for Judas, it's funny you say, like, you know, you hear that it's Ken Levine and you're in right off the bat, and I think it's really funny because I'm like, if anybody had any doubt that this is who made this game, as soon as the trailer started playing, like you would have zero doubt. Totally. Once it starts showing the gameplay. It's kind of funny, but yeah, no, I'm in for this for sure. I'm in for this, and the premise is right up my alley. As soon as the trailer started playing, and this weird woman's like on the TV, like doing some weird brainwashing type sounding thing, where she's just talking to the camera. At least that's the vibe I was getting. I was here for it, and yeah, no, I am very interested in this. I'm for sure gonna play this game. I feel like my thinking on the original series kind of mirrors yours, Henry, to be honest. Like, I think the first game is amazing, and then the second game I actually had a lot of fun with. I wasn't super hot on Infinite, but it was still good. Yeah, it just was definitely not my favorite of the three. So yeah, I'm here for Judas for sure. But Alexis, yeah, you asked us, have you played BioShock yourself?
It's been a while since I played it. I remember when they came out with the first one. I only played like at my cousin's house, I think. I know it's on the cover is his name is Big Daddy, and there's like the little girl or something. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really have much experience with this one, but I know like a lot of people love this game, and you could easily tell it's kind of like BioShock with like the colors and the design and everything. So yeah, I mean I'll play BioShock if it goes on sale. So I'll check them out one of these days. But yeah, Judas, no release date though. That sucks. It's been a while since it first got announced, and we still haven't got a confirmation. So keep an eye on that one. Let's get into like some PSVR 2 games that were shown here. I included this to talk about because I think I found them like interesting, even though I might not play them anytime soon because it's expensive device. But the first one was Metro Awakening VR. I think this one, I think the VR is like the best for like horror games or like suspenseful games, sort of like this. And this trailer showed a bit of it. It's coming out later this year. They also showed Legendary Tales, which is like kind of hard to like explain it. It's like a co-op action game with like magic. Think of it like a Avowed, like when you saw Avowed, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's a vibe I got from it, and it's already out. It was already out like on Steam. You just need the VR headset. I think that one looked pretty fun to play. If I do get a headset, like one of these days, that'll be one of the games I'll be interested in trying out. Do any of these like VR games catch your eye, or is it something like it's whatever?
I feel like for me, the Metro game actually was one of the first times I've been like, man, I kind of want to get my hands on a PSVR 2 because it actually looked really cool. I've only played one of the Metro games, and I think it was the third one, if I'm not mistaken. Had pretty good amount of fun with it. I feel like that game series in general should be right up my alley, and I just haven't, you know what I mean? I haven't crossed paths with it, or not a lot, I would say. But yeah, no, I was definitely interested in Metro, and then Legendary Tales, like, it looks like take it or leave it, but I'm always here for a co-op game, so that looked kind of cool too. But I also think it's kind of a big ask to have two people that have a VR and that know each other, just because of how cost prohibitive that thing is. So might be a little difficult finding a buddy to play with. But yeah, I mean, both these games look pretty cool to me, but I don't know how you guys feel. I have felt this way for really ever since they announced PSVR 2. They need something big, like, and I would even say multiple big things to get more people in, like myself. Because, like, yes, Metro looked great. No, I'm not going to buy a PSVR 2 just for Metro, right? Yeah. Like, you need big hitters, and I've honestly hate to say it, but I feel like the PSVR 2, like, they're not bringing the heat.
It's all third party.
With this thing yet, and it's like, yeah, it's like, what am I like? Why would I spend this much money on this thing so far? Like, you got to entice me, you know what I mean? And I feel like they haven't really done that yet. But the games themselves, I mean, these two games, they look cool. But I just, the device itself is more my problem. Yeah, I would say.
The biggest entry to BH.
I mean, you pretty much you segued right into what I was gonna say too. I mean, like, this is a $500 investment on top of an already $500 investment. You have to have the PlayStation 5 console and the VR headset in order to play these things. This is an incredibly underwhelming showing for people who own the device or people who want to own the device or even didn't and, they want to convince to own the device. I mean, what has a PlayStation VR 2 owner really had to play that's worth playing over the past, since it launched? You have the Horizon game that Sony made. You have Gran Turismo, which a lot of people are saying is like one of the better VR games out there. And then like Resident Evil was also ported to VR. Those are like three games, two of which you can play without the headset, and one of which is only exclusive to it. This is not going to convince anybody to drop another $500 on an entirely new peripheral. It's silly. When they initially came out and said this is going to be a state of play for PlayStation VR, including PlayStation VR, I expected a new first-party VR game. Obviously, at least one new first-party VR game. They just showed off 2 games, one of which is already out on a different VR platform, the other which is second or third party. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. I don't know yet. Hopefully it's good. It's probably going to be good. Metro is a well-respected series, but it's not enough to get you in. It's not enough to make you excited. And I actually tried out PSVR 2 the other day at a friend's house for the first time, and it's a fun device. It's way better than PSVR 1. I have a PSVR 1, and it's way better than that. But is it worth this? No way. Absolutely not. So very disappointed with what Sony tried to sell us with here. At the end of the day, though, I think the Metro game is going to be good. I think the Legendary Tales games look like VR Skyrim almost, with kind of like Avowed, like you were saying, which is very enticing. But I don't care to buy a VR headset for this. This is unfortunate showing for PSVR.
Yeah, I think they're just putting the word out that these games are coming out. So I don't know what else they could do with a VR 2. I mean, besides lowering the price, probably like a Spider-Man game. Because I think I saw like some VR game that was like sort of like Spider-Man. You're just gliding around. I think that might be like a seller for people, but we don't know how that'll be. So VR 2 not looking good, especially from Henry, who was talking shit about it.
I'm just angry. I'm just an angry person.
Yeah. We can skip Dragon's Dogma 2. They just showed like a trailer. I'm still waiting for 60 FPS on it. There's Rise of the Ronin coming out that same day, March 22 of this year. I think this one it looks like lower quality, I guess, sort of like a PS4 game, but I think the gameplay looks fun as hell. A little janky, but I think I can live with that. I have this one on my radar for March 22. if I don't finish FF7 Rebirth by then. But Rise of the Ronin, it's like a Ghost of Tsushima sort of. Says it's set during Japan. Did this catch your eye, of Cameron, or what do you think about it?
Yeah, it did actually, and I don't know. I'm just gonna float this out there. Did either of you guys play Ghost of Tsushima?
Ghost of Tsushima or Dragon's Dogma?
Mm-hmm. Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh yeah, I beat Ghost and the expansion. Yeah.
Yeah, I played the multiplayer.
Cool.
That was fun.
Nice. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. No, I was kind of getting the similar vibe as you from this, and what's interesting is to me it was like it kind of reminded me of that, and it kind of reminded me of like Shenmue in a weird way, because it's like seems like a little bit more down to earth, I guess. Like it's definitely an action game, but you're walking through the town, things like that. I will say what's really cool to me about this game, and they showed off a little bit, is the time period that it's set in is pretty unique. It's something that you don't see a ton of. Like it's way, way back in the day, and so like all the outfits look really cool, and obviously I hope it'd be really cool if they were historically accurate. You could just like walk through 1560 or whatever it was set in. I think it's in the late 1500s, I want to say, but yeah, it looks really cool, and I'm in for this. I think maybe more leaning toward like waiting to see reviews for me on this one, but that's only just because there's so much stuff coming out soon that it's hard to just propel this one to the top of the list. But yeah, I mean, I'm certainly curious about it for sure, I would say. But yeah, Henry, I mean, if you liked Ghost of Tsushima, I don't know if you're in for this too, but I'm assuming you probably are.
I played the first game for a few hours and I bounced off of it, and I wasn't really feeling it. I think I was just getting my butt kicked too much, and I think fast travel was a problem for me. This game really likes to pride itself on the fact that there is very limited fast travel, so there's a lot of walking around, and it just it didn't resonate with me. I've heard a lot of people say it's really, really good. I have a friend who really loves it. I've heard a lot of critics really, really like this game, and I want to get into it. It's kind of one of those things I wish I did get into, or I wish I gave it more time. But I don't know. I think I'm going to be waiting for a sale on this, most likely. I think it's going to probably review pretty well, but I think waiting for a sale for this for me is probably what's going to end up happening.
Got it. Yeah, I'm like sort of like on that boat where it's like it looks janky. I don't know if you guys noticed that. It's like a lot of like, I think it might be buggy when it comes out. It might even get delayed. I don't think it will, but it might get delayed. But I think as long as it's fun, I'm fine with it. I mean, it's by Koei Tecmo. They made like Wolong, by the same people made Wolong. Same with the Neo games. So those were like 80 plus games. But yeah, Rise of the Ronin, same day as Dragon's Dogma 2. So you're gonna have to choose between one or the other. All right, close it down on the state of play. Until Dawn for PS5, PS5 and PC. No release date. It's coming out this year, though. This one, I'm just like, I don't really care about this one. I already played it. I already seen my friends play it a couple times. I'm like, I'm not interested in this one at all. I don't know if they're going to upgrade it if you already have the PS4 copy for like $10, or they might just full price it for like $60 maybe, or 50. I'm not sure. Until Dawn, are you interested in Henry in this one, or you're already good with the PS4 version?
Yeah, I think we talked about it. I think last episode, right?
Yeah.
I played the first one. I played through it, like 1.5 playthroughs, something like that, and I kind of got my fill. So I think this is going to be a pass for me. They didn't really show off anything that really looked too incredibly game-changing from the PS4 to the PS5 version. It's a graphical update, but you're not going to get much more of it, I don't think, so I'm probably pretty good on it.
Yeah, Cameron, you all right?
Same.
You're not interested?
Yep.
Right.
Same for me. I was teed up and ready to go. Exact same as Henry. I am totally satisfied with my time with this game on the PS4 version, and frankly, I think this is more of a movie tie-in timing rather than them being like, hey, this game, necessitates some kind of upgrade. I will say though, I was actually talking to somebody about this game recently, and I kind of mentioned that they were remaking it for PS5, I guess I didn't really think back on this, but my friend was saying like, "Oh yeah, the frame rate is terrible in the PS4 version." And I was like, "I don't remember that."
Yeah.
But then I went back and looked at some old videos, and it is pretty inconsistent. Like it's pretty framey. So, good for them, I guess. They're gonna have a better version out there, so that's nice.
Yeah, it was an early PS4 game. I think that was that happened with like a lot of games like Bloodborne as well, where the frame rate was just 30 FPS
Yeah.
or like Until Dawn. I think Until Dawn it works because it's sort of like a movie, so you don't really need that many frames.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
Yeah, so this one is a skip for me. Even if it's on sale, I'm not interested. It's still a good game though, so if you haven't tried it, go ahead. It's fun as hell. They also showed the FF7 Rebirth State of Play. I don't know if you guys seen it. I didn't watch it. I'm just waiting for it to come out. A lot of people were spoiling about the State of Play for FF7. I had to mute a lot of people. They were showing too much. I didn't even see they also showed like another trailer, and I saw the thumbnail. I'm like, what the fuck? And then, dude, it looks amazing. I can't wait for this one. There's a demo out. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But did you guys? I know Henry, you said that you didn't watch the State of Play.
Yeah, I skipped it. I'm almost like you. I didn't hear that people were spoiling anything, which I'm very glad I didn't watch it if that's the case. But I'm already sold on this game, and the State of Play doesn't need to sell me anymore. I really, really, really like the first game. I can't wait for the second one. And the more you show me, it's just the less I have to be like surprised about when I finally play the game myself. So I'm fine just passing on the State of Play. But the game looks fantastic from what I've seen.
Yeah, and similar for me, I skipped this, so we're 3 for 3 on that. I do not need to watch anything for this. I was going to buy it 100% anyways. It's the FF7 remake. The first game was literally one of my favorite games in years. So I have zero doubt in my mind I'm going to buy this. Interestingly enough, I don't think we've ever talked about this on the podcast. Have you guys played the original 7?
Yeah, I did.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah, I haven't. So I feel like that's kind of a unique perspective that we have.
Man,
you know,
I'd
one
almost
person who
highly
hasn't
recommend
played
you
it. Yeah.
need to play the original 7.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because like and we're going to get into this a little bit of impressions, but I'm actually probably going to there's no probably about it. I'm almost certainly going to beat it before the third part comes out. That's just going to be a fact, I think. But maybe not before this one comes out. It just depends on the timing of everything. I kind of doubt it. But yeah, it's interesting. I have always taken the philosophy, and I'm sure there's, a lot of people out there can relate, where like games go on sale so often that like I, generally speaking, tend to wait till there's a sale for almost everything. Mm-hmm. And
nothing wrong with that.
It really just to me kind of always boils down to like, am I willing to risk being spoiled to wait for a sale, right? And usually my decision on that is yes, I can wait. This one I'm a little worried about because I obviously, there's pieces to this game that are etched into video gaming history that I'm already well aware of, but I don't necessarily know how this game and really the third game are going to, shake out. Clearly they're kind of going with a different story here in a lot of ways. So I'm debating if I want to risk it. I will say, for anybody out there like me who does wait on sales, like pretty generally effective as long as you stay off social media, which, easier said than done, but I haven't had it in years. As long as you stay off social media, it's actually surprisingly easy to avoid spoilers. Like, I'm sure now somebody's going to like message me and spoil God of War, but like have not played Ragnarok yet, have no idea what happens in the story. It's teed up. It's ready to go as soon as I get a big fat sale, but have not played it yet. So just an example of that kind of philosophy working in action. But I mean, look, let's be honest. Like this is the highlight of the State of Play for me, even though I didn't watch it. I already know this is the highlight because this game's going to be amazing. And the first game, oh man, I loved it so freaking much. So
you're talking about remake, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, remake. Original. So I kind of lied. I have very, very briefly played Original 7. I pretty much played the first like 5 hours, but that's it. So anything past that, no idea.
So you played the first remake game pretty much. So you're probably pretty good with
Yeah.
that.
Yep. Yeah, and it's funny to frame it that way because like it is truly hilarious how much different the remake already has been since the original, just in terms of even just the length of the remake game. But yeah, I would say, you know, early game stuff in FF7, nothing spoilery, but like I got out of Midgar and maybe did, you know, an hour more of gameplay or something like that. You know what I mean? It was very minimal.
Yeah, I was mainly concerned that you had played the first game and not even seen Midgar. So like you didn't know any differences between the game at all. You just kind of maybe I would have assumed if it wasn't for that, then I would have assumed that everything in remake was pretty much identical to the original. Just, you know, from that standpoint, most remakes are just a carbon copy of their original game. But obviously, Final Fantasy VII is trying to go in a completely different direction, or a different direction at the very least, in their story. So I think that honestly makes it even more interesting to see where they're going to take it. So that's why I think as long as you played up to what the remakes have done, you're totally good.
Yeah, and it's interesting, you know, I'm glad we're having this discussion because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there similar to me that they've never played the original and they have played the remake. I actually have a friend that did this exact same thing. He never played the original, but he beat remake too. And like, I think it's an interesting debate, right? Because I've kind of found myself in this weird position now where I almost don't want to beat the original before I'm done with the remakes because I don't want to know what's going to happen beat for beat because I like the remake so much that I'm like, I'd almost like to experience this going in blind. You know what I mean? But then there is the flip side of that, right? Like you're saying where, you know, a lot of people feel like you get a lot out of it if you kind of have played the original and now you play the remake and you see the differences. So yeah, I think it's an interesting debate for sure. And like I said, I'm not 100% even sure what I'm going to end up doing. If I had to guess, I don't think, I think Rebirth is going to be all new content for me. I don't think I'm going to be able to play 7 in time to see that content. So like, who knows? Maybe I'll feel differently then, but I have no idea. I just think it's a super interesting dynamic to have this. And it happens a lot with remakes, you know, where it's like you have this remake that drastically changes the original and some people have played it and some people haven't. I think of like Resident Evil, for example, right, where there's people playing RE4 remake that have never played the original. And I feel like I got a lot out of having played the original in that series because it was like, oh, it's cool to see the changes. But yeah, we'll have to see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. You said that for a remake, when you said that you only played the original for like an hour or like a couple hours, remake is just Midgar. So I think you're good to go on Rebirth since Rebirth is like the open world aspect of FF7. So yeah, they still have a lot of ground to cover. I'm interested to see how they wrap it up with 3 games. But we'll see. I mean, we'll talk about it later. There's a demo out already. We'll talk about that more later. Let's finish off the state of play from Kojima. He came through, introduced a new trailer for a long trailer. It was like damn near like 10 minutes. Death Stranding 2 on the beach. That's what it's called. And it's coming out in 2025. I think it might be early 2025 if I recall, but it was just 2025. My first thoughts on this, man, this looks amazing. I think this is looking like a day one buy for me, like Dang. Almost. It was like I was like on a second game, but from what I've seen so far from that trailer, I'm just like, oh man, this looks amazing. It was a long trailer, so like there was a lot of people that are like, what the hell is this? Why is there like a little doll and like 10 FPS? Or like, why is that like some woman just smoking a cigar or whatever with hands on her shoulder? I mean, it's just Kojima stuff right there. Yeah, Death Stranding 2, I mean, it looks amazing. I'm excited for this one. I want to see how they make this one, since like the first one came out like 2020, I think, or 2019, I think. I don't know if
Did
you
you
guys
play
are
the
interested.
first one at all?
The first one, I only saw gameplay of it. I didn't play it, but
Okay, that
I s-
really surprises me. You're excited for the second one.
yeah, it motivated me because I have Death Stranding 1. I fucking bought it like a year ago. I still haven't played it. I'm just now I'm interested in this one. I think I'm gonna be playing this one like very soon. So I mean, I don't think it's that long, is it? Have you played it, Henry?
Yeah, it's like 40 hours.
Oh shit. Oh damn.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say I thought it was pretty long. So I got to jump in for a second here, not to cut you
Yeah, go
off,
for it.
Alexis. So Henry, you've sparked an interesting debate. Henry, do you feel like he needs to play the first one to play the second one? That's the vibe I'm getting.
I think it is. I mean, I don't know how tight. I mean, well, obviously the story
Sure,
is very closely knit to it. I would say most definitely. The reason I would really recommend you play the first one is to know if you even like it. Like Death Stranding is a pretty divisive game, and honestly, I can see it really rubbing some people the wrong way. So it's interesting that you are excited about the second trailer, or the second game's trailer. It looks crazy, and I get why you're probably like, oh, that looks cool, but we didn't see any gameplay, and the gameplay of the first game is like a walking sim. It's like the most laborious walking sim ever created. So that's why I mean, does that sound interesting to you, Alexis?
Yeah, I saw some people describe it where it's sort of like a world, and then they build bridge. People. It's like a multiplayer, I guess, or something like that, where people build bridges for you, and then when you're playing with your own game, you see someone else's bridge they make. You're delivering packages. It's something like that, right?
Yeah, so you are delivering packages from one place to another over some difficult terrain, whether it be mountains or rivers or just jagged rocks or whatever the case is. And people can build things in their world, like a bridge or maybe a bike or something like that, and it will appear in your world. And so you can use those items to make your delivery process easier. Most of the time that's easier said than done, and it's randomized, so you never know exactly what you're going to have to work with. But yeah, that is essentially the long and short of it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that sounds very interesting. It's like, if I do play this, I think I'm gonna love it. Even though like some people are like, oh, it's just a walking simulator. I'm like, I'm fine with that. If like the story is good, right? Did you think the story was fine or what?
Okay. Yeah. So I know I'm talking like no one's gonna like this game, but I loved Death Stranding 1. I'm a big Kojima fan, and I actually did not think I was gonna like Death Stranding 1 at all because it looked. I mean, the gameplay looked boring. It just didn't look like a fun game. And I thought that the story was kind of, up its own anus, for lack of a better term. So it's very artsy, and I was afraid that it was going to be too much of that. And I ended up, it really resonated with me. The artsiness, it's like the first time I've ever actually played a game and been like, this is art, which I know sounds very pretentious and like it's definitely outside of what I normally say, but I'm like, yeah, this is probably the closest thing I've ever felt to like understanding art that I've ever seen in my entire life. Overall, the game is like, it's fun, but it's way more about communicating to the player like a specific message than it is actually being a fun game to play. And I don't think either one of you said you were a big Kojima fans either. So if his style hasn't resonated with you prior, I'm very surprised that it would now. So it's just an interesting conversation to have for sure.
Yeah. Let's get your thoughts on Death Stranding 2 as well. Why not? What do you think about it?
I think. Which
I,
one, me or Cam?
Oh, we'll let
Oh yeah, I was gonna say.
yeah, we'll let Cameron go ahead.
Go for
We've been
it.
talking a lot.
Okay. Yeah, no, and mine will be quick, and I'll throw it back.
No,
over
take your
to
time,
you. It is. Yeah, I think it was me that you were alluding to there with not being a huge Kojima fan. I definitely the odd one out in the gaming space, just in the sense that I do not like his stuff at all. I don't like his stuff. I've played a few of his games, didn't really care for him. His classics, I would say, which is obviously going to be Metal Gear. Like those are a genre that I'm not super into, so it was always an uphill battle for me getting into them anyways. And just in general, with as it pertains to Death Stranding, it's like the initial trailers, I actually was quite interested, and the more I looked into it, the less interested I got. I will say, just in general, with me, whether it's movies, video games, whatever it is, I do not like meta stuff, and he is very meta, and it's like I'm just like, nope, that is not the entire thing, right? Like it's never going to be just one thing. Like that's not the only reason I don't like his stuff, but it is a big reason. And I think I joked about this on the last podcast, but like the guy's name being Die Hard Man in the first game, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, nope. it's just like it's more of that, and that's not what I'm into. So yeah, this is a big pass for me. I know, we haven't really gotten to this part of the conversation, but I'm sure you guys will talk about your impressions of it. But all the Troy Baker stuff, I was, if I wasn't already out on this game, I would have been out by then.
Yeah.
So I'll put it
him
that way. Yeah. So mostly just the character, not Troy Baker himself, but like the character. I was like,
he's everywhere.
Yep, there it is. He is everywhere, man. He is everywhere.
All right, Henry, final thoughts on Death Stranding 2?
Yeah, it's very funny because Cam said, "Oh, well, when I saw Troy Baker come out," which for people who are unaware, didn't see the trailer, it's literally like a guitar. The villain of the game comes out with an electric guitar that he uses to fight in an electric guitar fight with a cyborg baby. Like a cyborg ninja baby. They have like a big fight, and that is like concentrated Kojima. It is like Kojima distilled down to his essence, and I thought that looked cool. I thought that looked so cool. I was like, dang, that's crazy. But like that is a lot of Kojima though. Is like he is an auteur. He's like easily the definitive auteur of the gaming industry, and I think a lot of people are just basically telling him, they're giving him a blank check, which I think we're going to get to very shortly, and saying, do whatever the heck you want. Like, I don't care. Like, whatever you does sells somehow, and just put that magic in and just let it go. And that's what you get, when you tell him to do that, is you get a weird, like, 10 frame per second marionette that you, like that's following you throughout the game, and like I said, like a cyborg baby ninja fighting a guy with an electric guitar. Like, you just get that crazy stuff. And that's the stuff I wish was in Death Stranding 1 a lot more, because that's like the cool stuff that I like from Metal Gear Solid. So like it really just sold me on Death Stranding a lot more. I still would like to see more gameplay. Obviously they showed no gameplay here. I assume it will be very similar to the first game, but I honestly just trust this series at this point so much that I'm going to play it no matter what. I don't know if it's a day one buy for me, but I'll definitely play it, and odds are I'll probably like it too.
All right, we're in the same camp. It's funny because Cameron was talking about the movies, and Kojima, man, he loves the movies. He's always posting like online about what movie he's watching, or he's going to like a movie theater. So that's where like a lot of inspiration is from. Let's end it off with this one. This was like a surprise announcement. I'm surprised this didn't get leaked. A new action espionage IP from Kojima, and it's currently called Fizzint, something like that. Is going to begin development after Death Stranding 2 comes out, and I guess this is sort of like the Metal Gear spiritual successor that they're going to be making for probably the PS6, honestly. The next one that comes out, if for like those who aren't into like Metal Gear and stuff, is sort of like Kojima's like a foray into like video game making and stuff. Sort of like for this one, it's called Fizzint, and it's going to be like a collab between movie, film, and music. So like it's all combined into one, I guess. Sort of like, I like to like make this an analogy that this is sort of like Final Fantasy 15, where they try to make you watch the movie before you play the game, and also watch like a short series so you can understand. I guess this is sort of like in that same vein, but we'll see more of it. Metal Gear Spiritual Successor. I don't know if you guys are interested into this one. Henry, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, I mean, like I was just saying, I'm a big Kojima fan, and this is him going back to espionage, which is essentially him saying this is another Metal Gear game, or a game similar to the vein of Metal Gear. The big takeaway here is, like, at the very end, he's talking with the president of Sony, and they zoom out, and it is, like, I think Columbiana Studios or something like that. Essentially, it's one of the studios that Sony owns in Hollywood. They own several, part of Sony Pictures. But it basically is them showing, we're going to basically do what Kojima has been wanting to do for years and let him make a movie. Like, we're going to be helping him essentially do that. And I think that's the biggest takeaway here is Kojima has clearly always been like a big movie guy. He's always wanted to make a movie. I feel like he's almost felt constrained by video games in a way. We saw at the Game Awards, he was like hanging out with Jordan Peele and talking about a project that they're going to be doing together and stuff like that. So this is him just basically finally being given a blank check by, the people who own a large portion of the movie business saying, you can finally do that. So we don't know anything about it now, and like you said, it's easily a PlayStation 6 game. This game is not coming out for a long time. So it's basically them just saying, we're finally going to do it. So that's all I have on it.
Yeah. You want to say anything about this, Cameron, even though you hate Kojima stuff?
I think that's you're gonna get me attacked on the internet now by saying that. No, I'm kidding. It's tough. Like I said, I just not super into his stuff. I will say, like, always open-minded, always willing to give stuff a chance. We'll see some kind of footage from it and maybe then kind of make my decision from there. But yeah, I'm just probably out. It's funny because for a lot of people, if he's behind it, they're in. If he's behind it, I'm probably out. That's just how it goes. So, probably a pass for me.
Got it. I'll just call you. You respect his work, but you're just not a fan of it. If that's fine.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay,
no, exactly. Yeah. No, I think he's fun to watch from afar, and obviously, I think it's really cool that he resonates with a lot of people. Yeah. I mean, I've always sort of admired that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just not a fan myself.
Yeah.
So.
If you're a fan of Metal Gear, keep your eye on this one. Won't be coming out for a long while. So yeah, that's it for the state of play. For my final grade, I gave it a B+. I think they showed a lot of great stuff here, but a lot of it was like stuff we already knew, some new stuff as well, but I'll give it a B+. What about you, Henry?
Yeah, I'll probably give it like a B-, something like that. Like you said, a lot of stuff we already knew, but a lot of stuff was definitely stuff that I'm interested in. Just wish we could have seen some more new stuff, personally.
Yeah, and Cameron, what was your grade on this one?
I'm gonna come right in the middle of y'all and just say B. I kind of agree. I think it's, for me, it's less like updatey and more new stuff that I wanted. Like, it's felt like this was a lot of like, hey, you remember that game we've been talking about the last like 2 state of plays? Here it is again. Yeah. So yeah, I'm kind of looking for some new stuff, and like, I think they semi tried to do that with the Kojima drop at the end, but I'm like, that alone, especially for me, is
and
not
it's
enough,
like a decade and a half away, so
Oh.
it's not much to look forward to.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
All right, state of play. The next one will probably be like in the summer, so we'll see more of what Sony has for the end of the year at that. All right, let's get into our last news topic. This is one of the biggest news topics in probably video game history, apart from
massive.
When this is massive. Apart from when Sega left console business, but I wasn't around there back then. I wasn't enough to like know how big of an impact that was, but this one is a huge one. A lot of Xbox games are going to be coming to PS5 as well as the Switch, and Microsoft and Xbox as a whole, they're looking like they're going to be going multi-platform. And this is a quote from Phil Spencer, who was the head of Xbox. He says, There's a lot of leaks and rumors of all these games coming to like PlayStation 5 and Switch as well. So this is what he wanted. This is what he said. He says, "We're listening and we hear you. We've been planning a business update event for next week where we look forward to sharing more details with you about our vision for the future of Xbox. Stay tuned." And when he tweeted this out, man, like Twitter went crazy. Instantly, a lot of like articles and stuff, as well as Xbox influencers, if you call them. They're pulling their support. In this article is someone hugging an Xbox, which is funny because a lot of these like Xbox people were not happy with this news for some reason. I guess they're just scared of all their games coming to like PS5. Yeah, we're looking like we're looking like Halo and Gears of War might be coming to PS5, which is crazy. You would never imagine that like in like 100 years, and we might be seeing that sometime soon, probably in a few years. The first game though, Hi-Fi Rush though, it might be coming to PS5 and Switch. I think this is the one that I'm interested in a lot. I think this might be like a day one buy since it's not very cheap, and I've been looking to like play this one of these days. And yeah, Cameron, I mean, what do you think about this one? Xbox going multi-platform. This is like insane.
Yeah, this is crazy. We've had some really crazy headlines this
Massive
year, obviously,
news.
or honestly, and it's been a nice little start to the podcast, I guess. But yeah, no, this is wild. I do have like a little bit of somewhat of a negative spin on this, which I am a bit concerned with. I've seen some people I've been kind of discussing with this online share where, to me, this sort of suggests naturally that Microsoft is kind of moving away from exclusivity. Lack of exclusivity can kind of be a problem in terms of competition. I do worry somewhere down the road Sony is just going to have a stranglehold on I would say the Sony versus Xbox thing. Sony's never going to destroy Nintendo. I don't ever want to suggest that, but I do worry a little bit about that. But more importantly, and I think that's much further down the road, if at all. More importantly, I think it's really cool to see these games come over, because in an ideal world, I would love every game on every system. If there was no negative connotations associated with that, that would be amazing. And so this is cool. And I mean, I know that like I can only speak for myself, but Hi-Fi Rush looked amazing. I don't have an Xbox, so that was kind of sad that I couldn't play it when it came out, but like I'm all here for it. That's probably a day one for me. It looks like such a cool little unique game. But yeah, no, this is interesting. I've kind of always, lightheartedly roasted Xbox for having like a lack of exclusives that I personally care about. And so I know kind of there's been some rumors of like maybe Gears of War coming to Sony, and I'm just kind of like, I'm like, I can take it or leave it kind of thing. So I think this is cool. I think this is cool for, gamers as a whole, I should say. But I do wonder about like long-term implications of this. We'll see. But yeah, Henry, I don't know if you feel the same way or feel differently.
There's a lot of strings to pull from here. So I think episode 1, to pat myself on the back, I said like Xbox is moving into being a publisher, which I think was a little bit of a controversial statement at the time. But I mean, this is, and I think we should clarify, this is not confirmed yet. So Phil Spencer is going to come out next week, it looks like, and kind of give an exact outline on what Xbox is doing. But we have had so many insider leaks and so many reports right now that suggest everything. They're basically going to turn into a publisher. That's pretty much, it's exactly what's going to happen. I mean, I don't see a world where that's not the case. Indiana Jones and Starfield are the first two that are like pretty much confirmed are going to be coming. I think, like Hi-Fi Rush was kind of one people were, Hi-Fi Rush, and I think like Sea of Thieves was one people were like, oh, well, I can kind of see that. It makes sense. It's a smaller title with Hi-Fi Rush, and like Sea of Thieves not only is it like a multiplayer game that can benefit from more people playing it, but it's also been out for like 6 years. So it's not really like a massive loss to the Xbox side of things if those two come over. But when you see Indiana Jones and Starfield, I mean, Indiana Jones hasn't even come out, and Starfield is one of their biggest games that Xbox has probably ever published. So them going to PlayStation 5 and Switch is basically an admission of the Xbox as a box is kind of dead. I don't think that Microsoft is going to move directly into like, well, we're no longer a platform anymore for a little while, but this is definitely an admission that we are going to eventually. I think that it's interesting. I'm conflicted. I think that definitely being multi-platform is like everything being multi-platform is something that benefits everybody. Having all of these games on every single platform is definitely a good thing. I mean, I don't want to be restricted by one console as much as the next person, but I also think that competition in the industry is good for everyone. I think that PlayStation 5's prices and I think PlayStation 4's prices were definitely determined by competition between Microsoft and Sony.
Oh, yeah.
Those prices were notably things that were marked down left and right because they were trying to compete with each other. And now, really, like, it's always been weird to me because Nintendo technically is a competitor with Microsoft and Sony, but no one ever seems to position them as that. It's always just Xbox versus PlayStation. But in this instance, there will obviously probably not be much more of an Xbox left. So, I mean, who is there really to force Sony into making these moves? Probably no one. And like knowing Sony when they were like cocky in the PS3 era, they are definitely capable of making really bad consumer decisions that they just don't care about. And like they're like, well, we're on top of the world. We'll do whatever we want.
Yeah, we saw that with PS Plus when they raised the prices. So it went from like $60 to $80, and then the extra and premium went up like $30 plus. So, I mean, that was just like one of the signs you see that where Sony's just like, we'll do whatever, people are gonna pay for it. And I think Nintendo has a chance with Switch too because it's gonna be more powerful, and I can see like a lot of third parties putting their games on there. I know I think Call of Duty will for sure be on Switch too. And that's like a huge get for them, even though I think the Nintendo audience is not really fond of Call of Duty. And I think with the Switch, it's like it's funny because when people they have a Switch, they also have like another system as well. They have a Switch and a PS5, or they have a Switch and a PC, something like that.
Complementary.
And then when you look at Xbox, is like the only thing I could see them like continuing like their game business is like putting Game Pass. But for Game Pass, they only put their first parties. But there's like no third party in their Game Pass. So they put it like on PS5 here. You want to play Halo, you want to play Starfield, you want to play Indiana Jones, pay for Game Pass. But it's only first party, so that's like the only way to get them, which I think could be a good thing. But they could also make like a lot of money just putting them a la carte. So you want to play like Starfield on PS5, just pay like $60 or $70. And I think it'll sell a lot for sure. I think Halo as well. I think it will revive the franchise like Halo and Gears. And that's like a whole thing for like Xbox. Oh, there's a lot of people playing this. Maybe we can make a new game. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Xbox, I think they might be in trouble right now since they're having the meeting next week. We'll see. And then, I don't know if they'll go the way of Sega.
I think this is a confirmation they're going the way of Sega. I mean, Sega had several consoles and then went to being a third-party publisher, and I think Microsoft is doing the exact same right now.
Yeah. When we look at like Sega, they put like a lot of games on their like PS2 and GameCube and Game Boy as well. So you saw like Sonic. We were talking about like Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, and like the only reason like I think it's popular is because it was on the GameCube, and we see that with their other games as well. Like, what was that other Sega game that was like on PS2? Like Crazy Taxi, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what else.
They had a lot of them.
Yeah. And then, I mean, we might see like Halo on PS5, and you're like, oh, that's like a normal thing. It's like, oh.
That'd be wild.
Yeah, it's wild because I think Halo was like on top of the world, like on the 360. Like,
yep, one of the biggest franchises in the world at the time, for sure.
Yeah, and then that was like one of the reasons that the 360 won. They have Gears, they had Halo. They also had Dead Rising, I think.
Yep.
Was
Dead
exclusive.
Rising. Yep.
Um. Okay, yeah, or Left 4 Dead as well, even though that's like a Steam game. Um.
Yeah, they had a lot go to Steam as well.
Yeah, and that's how 360.
And I think one last piece to this whole puzzle that's really worth mentioning and diving into is that, Microsoft just finished up a lot of acquisitions. That's clearly been their strategy for a long time now, is acquire. They've acquired some of the biggest publishers in the gaming industry.
Yep.
Activision being, the latest one, a huge acquisition, and they're pretty much doing a 180 from that. I mean, what was the point in acquiring these massive publishers / studios if there's really no need to keep them around anymore? You don't need them for this kind of a model to be a publisher. So it's a really bizarre decision to be making this late into the game, especially after they fought Sony so hard over it for years. So it's just an odd move.
Yeah. For Activision, it was like $70 billion, so they got to make their money back that way.
Yeah, the biggest acquisition in entertainment history.
I was gonna say, that was a massive.
It's a lot of money.
Deal.
Yeah, I'll say there's one thing. I think if they put Halo Infinite on like PS5, put like some battle passes right there, sell some cosmetics, I think it'll be like top. I will always be on top, like top 10 games ever, because you see Fortnite, you see COD, sports games, and you put Halo. I'm like, damn, it's gonna sell gangbusters. Same with the Master Chief Collection as well.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, I don't know if you have anything else to say, Cameron, on this. I think we're done until we see Phil Spencer address the Xbox community.
Yeah, I think you guys covered it really excellently, and I think like we'll see what Phil says, and obviously we'll have more to say probably on our next episode once we hear from him. But yeah, I think overall this is an interesting, very interesting story in and of itself, but in, like Henry alluded to, the context of Microsoft's other decisions that this places us in is also really interesting too. So I think it's a wait and see, but definitely a weird, interesting story.
Yeah, I think when they do that business update next week, it's gonna set the internet ablaze, and it's gonna be crazy.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll see what they do. I mean, they could still just be like, fuck it, we're just gonna stay on Xbox.
Squash the rumors.
Yeah. There's so many like people talking about like them going like third party, like all these like insiders, trusted insiders. We'll see if they're reliable. That's it for the news we have today. I don't know if you guys want to say anything. You want to add any news, or we can go on to like what we've been playing to end it off.
Bring it on.
All right, so I'll start with mine. So I'll get started with the game I just finished recently, which was long overdue, and that's Elden Ring. I also managed to platinum this one because I was like very close. It's like the trophies are just like you just kill some bosses and just find some items, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's no
I got
side
the
you don't have to
platinum
do.
too.
Yeah, it was like
same.
Yeah, I was like, fuck it, let's do it. All you had to do was like find some items, and then it wasn't that hard. I just looked up a guide online because I'm not gonna look.
That's what they're for.
Yeah, that was the only time I used a guide. Any other time I was just on my own. So yeah, Elden Ring, fucking amazing game. If you haven't played it, go ahead. I think you'll like it. It's just very difficult. Just use a summon if you find it difficult. And then the next one, I'll start with Nobody Saves the World. This is like, I guess it's like an indie game, maybe. Yeah, okay. So this came out like last month for PS Plus. I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna download it. It's only like a gig or two, and played it for like a couple hours. I got sunk into it. It was a lot of fun. It's like dungeon crawling. So if you're like into like Diablo, I guess, or something similar like that, I'll recommend this. You get start. You're playing as somebody named Nobody, so you're that's the name of your character, and like you get like different abilities once you level up. You have to do like side quests. No, not side quests. You have to do like missions or something. Like kill this person 50 times or poison this one enemy like 50 times, something like that. And like you get XP and stuff, and it's like very addicting. I'll recommend it if you're like you want to have some time to burn. It's not very story driven. This is very gameplay focused. You can find a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, this is it's interesting you brought this one up because I actually tried this. I kind of bounced off of it, but I could definitely see the appeal. And like to me, this was a like people who like checking the box or like checklists. This is like their dream game.
Yeah.
It's got so many like little tasks that you can do. I was like, wow, this is crazy. And I actually do have that kind of brain. I feel like when it comes to games in a lot of ways, but. Yeah, for whatever reason, I just kind of bounced off of it. The first like kind of thing transformation you can start as is like a little
Yes.
rat or whatever. I wasn't feeling that too much, and I think maybe that
very goofy.
like had I started as something different, I might have been like more into it. But yeah, it may have just been wrong place, wrong time thing. But yeah, it's cool that you're into this. Do you happen to know how long this game is? I don't think it's like super
I
long.
think it's 16
20.
40 hours.
20 hours.
No, 20. Okay, 20. I thought.
Oh,
So it's
wow.
not that long, I guess. But
That's longer than I thought.
I
Wow.
mean, you can speed through it if you know what you're doing, I guess. I'm only like a couple hours.
Did you beat it?
Nah, I haven't. I just started it, so I already beat the first like dungeon or the big castle in the beginning. But yeah, I found it a lot of fun. It's funny you say there's like a checklist. That's like makes my brain go like yes, I want more. But
Oh yeah, dude. It is built for that. For
it's
sure.
like sort of like in that vein of like Vampire Survivors. If you played that before.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
Yep.
yeah.
And I can chime in there real quick on this game. I played it a while back. It was a day
Oh, yeah,
one
yeah.
Game Pass game.
It was.
Yeah, and I typically try out all of the Game Pass day one releases, just where they get the most bang out of my buck for that subscription. So I played it a while back. It's from a studio that I really like called Drinkbox Studios. So they've done other games, notably like Guacamelee, Severed. They're typically making really good games, and Nobody Saves the World is definitely a checkbox game. It's a lot of fun. Really, it ultimately is like a kind of a puzzle game. So like you use your various forms to kind of go through these dungeons that have very specific qualifiers or challenges associated with them. Like at one point you have like a dungeon that's like all you're taking damage all the time, or enemies poison you and you die very quickly. So you have to use like your zombie form to steal health from enemies throughout the dungeon in order to succeed. At the end of the game, your rat form actually becomes one of your most like overpowered forms in certain situations, and you can even combine various forms, powers. It's honestly a really cool little game, and more of a puzzle game than anything else towards the end of the game too. So I definitely recommend it too. It's a fun time.
Yeah, I think I like playing this like in between like the other huge games that I've been playing as well. So, yeah. So my other game that I've been playing, it just came out a couple of days ago, is Persona 3 Reload. And yeah, this is the one remake I've been waiting for like a year or two now. I had a feeling they were going to remake it, so I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna just wait for it, because like the old one on the PS2 is like very dated. Yeah, the Reload, I think if you're, I think it's a good starting point for anybody who's into like Persona. I think there's not a lot of tutorials like 5. Like 5 is like the whole beginning of the game is like is sort of like is guiding you, and I think this one is like more free open. You can choose what you want. There's still a lot of tutorials, of course, but I skipped most of it because I knew like how the gameplay works and everything. So yeah, this one is getting good reviews on it, and if you haven't played a Persona game, maybe recommend it, but it's kind of pricey because it's like $70. You can probably get like 5 Royal for like $20-$30. So yeah.
Yeah. Did you play the original 3 like in its entirety, or did you just kind of play?
I played like 30 hours of it.
Wow.
I played it on the PS3 because it was on there for like $10. So I was like, I'll just play it on there, and it's very rough, and it sucks playing on the PS3 because it's so slow. So whenever I play it, it's like
it's I get you. It's kind of funny because I like played them backwards. So I beat 5 like years ago, and then I went and played 4 like 2 months after I played 5 because I was like, I can't get enough of those. Beat 4 entirely, and then I went back to try to play 3, and I could not do Tartarus. I was like, I'm out, dude. Like I can't do this because like I actually was playing the PSP version because somebody was like, oh yeah, the PSP version is like you can actually control your party members AI like in the original game you like couldn't, and I was like, okay, well I'll try that. The characters, like their classic, persona, like I was interested in the characters and like the side stories going on, and actually the main plot to me was really intriguing, but I could not get past the gameplay. I was like, this thing is driving me nuts just seeing the same thing over and over, which I know people are going to point to the fact that like 4 is also somewhat procedurally generated, but like at least 4 has the different dungeon like appearances.
Themes.
So even though it's still like, yeah, exactly, even though it's like generated, you feel like it's different. So that's kind of funny. But yeah, I was just curious because I know a lot of people that are playing Reload that have like played the original and have that connection, and so like I'd be curious to know how many people are playing this that like didn't play 3 when it came out. I would want to know.
Yeah, fastest selling Persona game of all time.
Oh yeah, 1 million in a week.
I saw that.
That's
yeah,
surprised.
I saw that, which is insane. I'm like, I would have expected Royal to have done more than that, but
Yeah, I'll say that Royal was only on the PS4 when it came out, so I think that's why. And I guess most people already played the one that came out like in 2017. So I guess a lot of people didn't double dip into Royal until it came into Xbox and Switch and PC and stuff. So I think that's why.
Yeah, I think Persona 5 was really the first game in the series to become kind of a mainstream success. There was a lot of word of mouth on it, and it had a lot of visual flair that's made it stand out. I think that really helped it. So now when people are going back and seeing Persona 3, there's a lot more interest in the series for them to go back and pick up that game. I can actually kind of hop in on this game a little bit too. It was another Game Pass Day 1 exclusive, so it was another good reason for me to just hop in. I've only played about 20 minutes of it at this point. I've been so occupied with Baldur's Gate 3, trying to finish that up. I didn't have a whole lot of time this week. But kind of similar to Cam, my relationship with the Persona series goes back a little bit differently. I started off playing Persona 4 Golden. Really love that game. I'd say it's probably like my favorite JRPG of all time. Really resonated with me. Really love the story, the characters, just pretty much most of the stuff about that game surrounding its world. I then went on to play Persona 5. It's interesting because Persona 3 was never one I really got around to. I played it on the Vita as well, so handheld. It's weird because there's still not really, looking at this remake, there's still not really like a definitive edition because every single edition now has like some content that another edition doesn't have. So like Cam was saying, the original version, you couldn't control your party members. But in the remake on the handhelds, like there was an entire separate like character, like the female version that you could play that had separate content. So now this new one, you do have the ability to control your party members, but you don't have access to that female route. So there's still, all the content for this game is still kind of dispersed and separated throughout multiple versions, which is odd. But from what I played initially, and comparing it to what I've seen within the first 20 or so minutes of the game, this is really like a full-blown remake. Everything about this is completely, upgraded and looks a lot like Persona 5. A lot of style, a lot of pizzazz, and I'm really interested to keep going with it. It's definitely like my entryway to this particular game, and I think easily, from what I've seen, like the way to play it now as a new player for it too.
Yeah, I'll say some final words on this. The gameplay is like Persona 5, where you can baton pass to another teammate. So, but they don't get like upgraded like strength or like attributes. It's just like, here, it's your turn. So, there's no like personal benefit to do that, but you can do that just to like switch to another teammate, which I like, because if they did give you like a stat bonus, like 5, I feel like it would have been too easy. I'm playing on Merciless, which is the hardest difficulty, and it's good enough. I think
Oh, nice.
there's been a lot of people that say it's easier than before, because I know the original 3 is like very difficult, even on normal. Because I remember playing the 3 Fest on normal, and it was still very hard. Um, but yeah, 3 reload. I'll recommend it to those who are looking for like an upgraded version of 3, even though it's missing some stuff. There might be DLC. There's a DLC for the answer, which is like a epilogue for like the original. So more DLC for that. But yeah, that's all I have to say on Persona 3. And my last thing is, I'll make this quick. I've been playing the FF7 Rebirth demo, which came out after the State of Play on Wednesday. And so far, I like it. It's exactly what I expected. So it's like I just wanted like a taste of it. And it's a prologue, so it's like everything that happens after the remake. So it's like a continuation, sort of. The only thing I had an issue with was is how it looks. If you
I've
dude,
heard about
okay,
this.
so I play it on performance mode, which is 60. It runs good, like 60 FPS, like buttery smooth, like no frame drops. But some of the textures and stuff, man, they look blurry as hell. And I'm like, what the hell is this? Even on quality mode, like it was still looking kind of bad. So I think the demo was kind of fucked up. So maybe for the full release, it might fix it, because I don't think it's the right resolutions. Like, it's supposed to be 4K on quality, and then performance like on 1440p, I guess, or 1080p, because I know it's an open world. So yeah, there was like some sacrifices with the textures. I saw like a blurry rock. I'm like, oh shit, this is like the door from Remake. Yeah,
Oh God.
I took a screenshot. I don't know if anybody's seen it yet. I don't know if anybody's seen it. I took a screenshot of like a blurry rock. I'm like, I'm about to post this online so people can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, so
Yeah.
try the demo if you haven't.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
if you haven't tried the demo, go ahead, go for it. It's free. That's all I have to say.
I need to do that.
Yeah.
And I can pop in a little bit on
Yeah.
that too. So I also played the demo. I initially was not planning on it, like we were saying earlier. Like, I'm already sold on this game, so I really don't need anything else to really get me going on it. But because a lot of demos do this nowadays, and I really think this is awesome, this progress from your save carries over to the full game. So if you get to this section, or when you get to this section in the full game, you don't have to replay it. You can just skip it. And this section apparently is towards the beginning of the game, so it's a pretty good place to start off and have a nice demo. It's a pretty meaty demo too, but you know, it does a good job just kind of showing off the combat, showing off the world, and giving a good explanation as to what was going on prior, and just a good lead up for people who may be wanting to get into this. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the first game though, and this is very similar. The characters are very similar. The combat is very similar. The world is very similar, and I have no issues with any of that. They didn't need to change anything, and so I'm still pretty hyped for it. You know, this is a demo showcasing, you know, like Cloud and Sephiroth teaming up together. I mean, it's a really great section for them to have chosen for the demo, and I really enjoyed it.
How long is the demo?
It's about 2 hours long.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I gotta check that out.
Yeah, and they're adding another section of the demo too in a couple of weeks to showcase the open world aspects of the game as well. So there's more there.
Oh wow.
You got anything else, Henry?
Are you done with yours, Alexis?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I'm done with mine. Go.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I also finished up Baldur's Gate 3 on my end. So I think at the end of my playthrough, I had a save file that was around 110, 120 hours or so. Pretty lengthy. Yeah. And so easily one of the longest games I've ever played. And I think there's probably another 20 or 30 hours on there because I had to keep reloading.
You rescummed.
Yeah, it definitely did, no doubt. There's too many decisions in the game that really like force you to go back. If you make a mistake, you know, like it can really cost you. Like there was a point in Act 2 where I had to I had to defend this character from being attacked, and if you fail, like half the characters that you've met up into that point in the game like just die. And
Oh shit.
yeah, it's a really big penalty for sure. And you know, I didn't know that, and so I looked it up and I was like, is this something that I can, you know, change? And they're like, yeah, you definitely can. I was like, oh frick. So I definitely reloaded there. I did like 5 hours of content again because I found out that I could actually make that work. So there's a few instances like that throughout the game. But at the end of the day, I saved the world, I got the girl, all that jazz, and I was really happy with my experience throughout the game. I think Act 3 is one of the stronger acts because it does tie everything together, everything you've kind of been working for throughout the game. Like all the decisions you've been making up to that point, you kind of have the climax of all of those arcs. But I have heard some people say that Act 3 can be bloated, and I do tend to agree with that. But that is something you can technically avoid. You kind of do it to yourself by going after all the side missions and stuff like that. You can easily make this game a maybe 70-hour run if you really wanted to, just doing mainline stuff or doing some side missions. But I did try to do everything I came across. I tried to explore every corner of the map. I did not leave any stone unturned to the best of my ability, even though I still know I missed a lot of stuff. There's just a lot of little details in this game that you can easily miss. But at the end of the day, I think what really, and part of that is really what drives it home, is like the little details in this game. There's clearly a lot of love that went into this. Larian is clearly a bunch of nerds, and they made this game for D&D nerds and really just nerds in general, and it really shows. And it some of these little details were enough to really make me even start like reconsidering what was going on in the world contextually. So like towards the end of the game, I started looking at all these characters, and they all have names whenever you fight. It's not just Thug 1, Thug 2. It's, somebody with an actual name. And sometimes if you complete an encounter correctly, those characters can survive or something like that. And, you can, or if you make a different choice, you can go back and look at a save, and you can interact with that character, or they'll have an arc that you could go down. And, towards the end of the game, I started actually looking at everything that I was killing as like, well, that's a person, and they have a story. And, I just totally wiped out anything that character could do down the line by killing them. And that's something I've never thought about with any other game ever. And that just shows the amount of detail in here. I mean, like, for instance, I was like, I killed somebody in a bar, and I went up to the bartender, and they were like, oh yeah, they had like specific dialogue about that character that I had killed. And I felt like I really didn't have a choice in killing that character, but the game made me think otherwise by having like other characters in the world, affected by that. And that happens all the time. It really does feel like what you're doing is affecting the world around you. At the end of the day, I think last time I talked about this game, I was a little bit iffy on the combat. And that really is like the last kind of, that is the only thing that I'm really holding out on this game, is the combat didn't jive with me really well. But if we really want to get down into it and look at it objectively, the combat is really hard to argue with, especially if you are really into that style of combat. There's stuff that you can find throughout the game that's, that'll completely change your build. You'll find an item that'll be like, well, if you use this with that item or with these abilities, then you'll get this massive bonus. And you're like, oh, well, dang, this could completely change my build or my play style. And, like the powers that you unlock as you level up, it makes you really feel way more powerful. And there's a lot here that I think, like, people who really enjoy min-maxing and builds and, turn-based tactics, like, you're really going to pull a lot from this. I do think that combat does go along or go on for a little too long sometimes, and I wish you could find a way of kind of going around that. But at the end of the day, it's hard to really objectively pinpoint anything that's wrong with this game. And I think that's like, there's a reason that this won Game of the Year. It's a masterful game.
Got it. I wanted to ask you like 2 questions real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
How was Act 3? Was it buggy, or was it like, did it run fine enough for you?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. So, this game was originally an early access game. So it had, Act 1 was really kind of combed through by the community, and they took a lot of feedback in. And there's actually even a companion that wasn't meant to be a companion, but the community liked it so much that they added him in as a companion, which is, like they took a lot of feedback. Act 2, I think, was a lot of, there was a lot of community feedback there, but it still had, a little bit to go. And then Act 3 was completely there with the full release. It didn't have any early access fine tuning. So Act 3 definitely is a little bit buggier, or a lot more buggier than the rest of the game. I had, NPCs that had like jaws jutting halfway across the map at times, or like the computer would wait a minute and a half or something like that before moving on to the next turn or something. But at the end of the day, it was still, I never had to reload a save. The game never crashed or soft locked or hard locked or anything like that. So
Yeah.
it wasn't too horrible at the end of the day.
Got it. And the other thing I wanted to ask was, do you think this is your game of the year for last year? If you did play last year?
Oh, that's a really good question, actually. So I know we didn't go into this initially when we started the podcast, but my game of the year last year was Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, and that's coming from a guy who didn't even like Breath of the Wild. So I think what really distinguishes those two games for me is Legend of Zelda. I had a good time from beginning to end. It was a pretty stagnant amount of enjoyment from the time I started it to the time I finished. While with Baldur's Gate 3, I would say that the highs for that game were so much higher for me. So something like, maybe the combat is something I've been harping on a little bit with Baldur's Gate 3. It may have brought it down a little bit for me, but, like at the end of the day, these massive moments throughout the story, or these really cool, like aha moments with, how my decisions played out, they were things that really made the experience so much more impactful for me. So, it really is it's really hard for me to say, but I think probably at the end of the day, I probably would say like Baldur's Gate probably is my game of the year for last year, if I had to say. I think so.
Good.
That's super interesting. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I think it speaks a lot that you even had to think about it. You know what I mean? Like, it speaks a lot for the game that you had to contemplate it. Because, like, as you said, pitting anything up against Zelda is always a losing proposition for the other side, or in many cases it is. So, no, that's awesome, man. Yeah, like I alluded to in a previous episode, like this is my rainy day game that I'm just waiting to play. So, great to hear more good things about it. So,
yeah. You want to talk about Silent Hill, or you want to hand it off to Cameron?
No, I think we covered it in the state of play. I'll hand it off to Cam.
Yeah, go for it. See, you got a lot to talk about.
Sure. Yeah, I got some interesting stuff. It's kind of a wide range of things going on here. So, the first thing I'm going to hit on, because we've talked about it in a few previous episodes, is Separate Ways. So, Separate Ways, the Resident Evil 4 DLC, sort of meant to be played after beating RE4. I would agree with that generally. Like, it's funny because it's like I was told over and over, like, don't play it before, which I've obviously played the original and the original DLC, but I was told over and over, like, beat the main game first, and like playing through Separate Ways, it's like I see what people are talking about, because it just blatantly spoils like the main game, I would say. But like on the flip side, it's also like I don't know that it hurts you like really, really bad by playing this first. I would, generally speaking, play it second anyways, but I just thought that was kind of an interesting thing to note. But yeah, this is pretty good DLC, honestly. For $10, I would highly recommend it.
Yeah, it was very cheap, $10.
Oh yeah, no, definitely cheap. I mean, it's cheaper than Skin and some other games. So like at $10, very, very high value proposition, and like very solid, well-made DLC. I will say to Alexis, we've kind of talked about Ada's voice actor in previous episodes of this podcast. I think she does better in Separate Ways. I still think it's kind of stilted, but it's significantly better than the main game, I will say. So that was kind of a pleasant surprise. Some cool mechanics, not diving too deep into that aspect of it, but it's basically like they play around a little bit with things she's capable of doing compared to Leon. She's like a little bit more acrobatic than he is. So, she's going to do like a little bit more fancy moves. She's going to have like, she has her signature grappling hook that affects combat in some ways too. some pretty cool little side quest things you can do, I guess. With her, just kind of like the main game as well. So highly recommend that. I think I had a lot of fun with it, and I would say overall, like, it's kind of sounds dramatic to say this, but it almost feels required to me. Like, when you played the main RE4 to also play this, I wouldn't maybe go so far as to say, like, if you don't, you're missing out on something big, because Resident Evil stories can be like somewhat, less serious than, other games, but like I really do recommend playing this in tandem with the main game, because I think it supplements it like quite a bit. So, generally, like, high level view for anybody not familiar with Separate Ways, because this is basically DLC that was in the original, or came with the original game, depending on the version you got. It's basically like one of the characters in the game you're playing as, and seeing the events of the main game like from a different perspective. So, pretty cool little DLC. I know, like, you guys had mentioned you were gonna play it, but I don't know if either one of you had dove in.
Me,
yet.
not yet. I deleted it. Yeah, I gotta re-download it. Yeah,
okay, gotcha. Yeah, no, it's fun, and highly recommend that DLC. So,
how long is this DLC?
Yeah, so that's the interesting thing. Is I'm glad you asked, because as something I kind of forgot to hit on, which is I had been kind of under the impression that it was going to be like, I don't know why, for some reason I was thinking from what people were telling me that I was going to be in like the 8 to 10 hour range, depending on like how slow you took things and how much completionist mindset you had. Mine clocked in literally 1 minute above 5 hours, which is hilarious, and I point that out because it was the difference in a rank change, because obviously Resident Evil games go off essentially how fast you beat it. So it was like the difference between an A and a B was that 1 minute. I was a little salty about that, but yeah, it was right at 5 hours. So I was a little surprised at the shorter length of it, but I will say, like, I don't think it overstays its welcome. And for $10, like I said, I'm pretty satisfied with the purchase, honestly. Like, it's a nice like variation on the main game, enough to the point where I think you get your $10 worth, honestly. So pretty cool.
Yeah, very surprising to hear, that sort. Maybe you're just that good at Resident Evil.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I would say that necessarily. I did play it literally right after 4, so like the mechanics were fresh in my head. But yeah, it is. I agree with you. It's kind of surprising to hear like people having a over 7-8 hour experience with this DLC, because like I did everything in the main game and I did everything in the DLC, and like I said, it was about 5 hours. I will say, the little, I would hesitate to even call it an Easter egg, but the beauty of the Resident Evil games is, most of the time you can typically, if you save up enough money, buy an RPG that just insta kills a boss in the game. And I did take advantage of that in the DLC. I did not in the main game. So, some of the more tedious Resident Evil bosses, I could see me maybe tacking on like another 15 minutes. But fortunately, I had that with me. So it made short work of them, which was kind of funny. I've never done that before in one of those games. So it's kind of a unique thing to just like walk into the boss fight and just instantly go on to the next part. It's kind of weird. So... yeah, no, very fun. Kind of the next thing, and I was sort of alluding to this earlier when I was saying I probably wouldn't get to 7 before Rebirth comes out, is I'm actually playing Final Fantasy 1, the Pixel Remaster. So the Pixel Remasters haven't been on sale like essentially ever. I've been keeping my eye out like for a sale, and right now they're on sale. I think it's 20%. It's not much. I think it's 20%, because I want to say they go from like 75 to 60 or something like that. But that's for 1 through 6. And I have never played. So I've played 8 through 15, and I've never played anything pre-8.
Oh,
So I was like, this is the perfect opportunity to like kind of complete this series that I love. So I bought the bundle, 1 through 6, and I decided I'm just gonna go through them in order, so that way I don't get the jump ahead quality of life thing and then jump back to the old one and be like, God, dude, this sucks.
Yeah.
So I started 1. I've been having a lot of fun with it, actually. I mainly got the pixel remasters because of the remastered soundtracks, because I am kind of talked about this before on the podcast. I'm like a massive music junkie, especially when it comes to video games. I am in love with like orchestral music and instrumental music, and so I was like weighing my options, how I should play, these classic games, and it was like pixel remasters have remastered soundtracks and they sound phenomenal, and I was like, you got me. So I jumped into FF1 pixel remaster about an hour and a half in, having a lot of fun with it. I think it's a pretty short game in context of the series at large, so who knows, I might even be done with it and on to 2 by the next episode, but we'll see. I was gonna actually ask you guys though, have you played any of the old ones?
Nah, never. But you caught me, because I remember I've been waiting for a sale on these like pixel remasters, and they're like, the bundle is $60. I'm like, ooh man, I'm thinking about pulling the trigger on that and just buying it. But there's a lot of games coming out that I'm like, I probably won't get around to it.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because people have like both criticized and defended the price for the bundle, and like obviously I don't want to get too into the weeds on pricing. Like I don't want to sit here like a commercial, but basically the way they have it set up is 1 and 2 are cheaper than the others, and then 3, 4, 5, 6 are more expensive. So kind of an interesting dynamic there. The bundle is essentially buy 4 get 1.5/2 free is pretty much how it's set up, if you break down like the individual prices. So pretty cool. And Henry, I think I kind of cut you off, so I didn't know if you had anything you wanted to say about this as well.
No, nothing from me.
Cool. Yeah, definitely looking forward to 4 and 6. I feel like those are the 2 like that I always hear a ton about. It's kind of, I will say kind of the last thing on the first one is it is very interesting just from like a historic perspective to just go back to this, because like seeing where everything sort of started, and like probably the coolest thing, and I actually did not know this about 1, is you actually pick your starting party and their classes. So like you could hypothetically start FF1 with a party of 4 black mages, like, and just play the entire game with that. So it's kind of funny. Like you can just pick any party comp you wanted. I went with like a balanced party just because I wanted to try like experience different things. So I did 1 red mage, 1 white mage, 1 warrior, and 1 monk. Which I was like, monk. That's kind of interesting in the series perspective. So yeah, the monk is fun too, because it's basically like penalizes you for putting equipment on him. So like if you put a weapon on him, it doesn't give him any boost to attack. So it's like, why would you waste the weapon? You know what I mean? And same thing for armor. It like doesn't boost his defense. So it's like, why would I put armor on him? So it's kind of funny. It's like the dirt cheap class. You can just kind of like leave him, nothing on him, and, don't have to worry about getting him armor or weapons and stuff. It's pretty fun. It definitely has a little bit of that old school flavor of like, where in the hell do I go?
Yeah.
Because like, if you don't make sure to talk to like this specific person, you're kind of just wandering around aimlessly. So I've just been trying to, be diligent about that and like walk around talking to people. So I've been making do. And then the last thing I kind of wanted to talk about, which is, sort of related to that, is actually, I consider this a crowning achievement of this podcast so far, because Alexis, you mentioned this to me, like in the first episode, you mentioned this, and I actually picked it up, and I've been absolutely hooked on this game, dude. So I got a Theater Rhythm, and I basically was kind of weighing my options because they have 3 different versions. So they have like the base game, and then they have the deluxe, which has like 28 exclusive songs and season pass 1. And then they have the premium, which is basically everything. So it's like same thing as deluxe, except season pass 2 and 3. Well, so basically the way that this worked for me was like, oh, I can probably just roll with deluxe because I got to have 2 Xanarkand. I got to have Eyes on Me. So I had to get at least deluxe, right? Because those are only in the deluxe version. But then I saw what was in the season pass 2 and 3, and I was like, dude, this is premium, man. Because like the Chrono Trigger music is in season pass 2, and so basically the way the price works out is if you get the deluxe and then buy the Chrono packs, you're basically at the price of the premium. So I'm like, even though I've literally never played like any Saga games, like, sure, I'll take the music to them. Like, I'll just get that premium. So it's half off right now. It is very expensive, like at full retail. So if people want to pick this up, now is the time to do it. It's the lowest, tied for the lowest it's ever been. Shout out to DekuDeals.com. It's a fantastic game sale website. But yeah, man, you got my eyes on this, and I have been absolutely hooked, dude. I loved Melody of Memory, which is like the Kingdom Hearts version of this, and Theater Rhythm. Like this is such a banger, dude. Like it has so much music. It has so before the season passes, it has almost 400 tracks, and then after you add all the season passes, it's like well over 500. I think it's like a little over 500. So, this thing is amazing. Like, honestly, it's been really fun. And the way that they have it set up is you basically go like game by game in the series, and you can kind of pick and choose which one you want to do. And so I've just been like kind of randomly picking them. Like I just beat 5 yesterday. I like did all the music from 5. And now I'm moving on to 15. I think is the one I was doing next. So yeah, it's tight, man. I highly recommend for anybody that's a big fan of this series and huge music fan, like super fun game.
I love that they have like 7 remake music in there, and they also have like other like side games, like so many. That's like, man, this is like fun as hell. I want to get like the season passes too. I do wonder if they're gonna add more because Rebirth is coming out. And there's some other, they still haven't put like Octopath Traveler 2 music in there. And the same with like the Pixel remasters. I remember you talking about like you want that music, and I'm like, oh, they should just put that into Theater Rhythm, because I know in the Theater Rhythm they just have the music from like the NES, the SNES, so it's like it sounds like that, but they still need the Pixel remaster like orchestral music in there, and I'll buy that for sure.
Yeah, and it's funny. Sorry, I was just gonna say it's funny, directly kind of related to what you were talking about is, so the premium version, they have claimed that it'll get you everything that will come to the game. So like if they add anything, it should, hypothetically, you should get it if you have the premium. I will say the most recent addition they made, I was looking into this, even though I just bought the game, was they added 16, and they added a lot of tracks. It's like 12 or 13 tracks, I think. But they added 16 in November of this past year.
Not that far.
I think that's their most recent update. Nice. So I haven't played 16 yet, but I was like, man, these tracks are kind of cool. I haven't played the tracks yet, but I was kind of listening to them. But yeah, Henry, what were you going to say though? Kind of cut you off.
No, you're good. I was just going to say that, I played the demo for this game, and it is a meaty demo.
Oh yeah.
But I played a few songs in it, and I really enjoyed it. It's a solid rhythm game. I enjoy a good rhythm game every once in a while. You have to do something with rhythm games to kind of make them stand out. There's so many, and it's so easy just to make some kind of like, hit the beat at the right time kind of game. It's very easy to replicate, but like in this game, I think they really do a great job in standing out by having, like you actively have like a party that you're journeying through the song with. And it's really cool. You can grab a party member from each of your favorite Final Fantasy games and like level them up throughout, like battling monsters alongside the song. It's a cool concept, and I think it makes the game really fun. Obviously, the game has a whole lot of music associated with it. It kind of scared me off because there were too many like in-game purchases. I would have, hoped that the base game would be a little bit cheaper if that was the case, but not so. And normally with a rhythm game or most music, I like to have kind of an association with that music before I kind of delve into it or play it a lot. So because I haven't played those games before, I pretty much just don't have an interest in playing those, so I stay away from it.
Yeah, and that's totally understandable, and like obviously I think you probably kind of realized the through line there for me, which was that like now that I'm playing the pixels, it's like I feel like it's even better now that I'm going through this, because it's like you have, even though they're not one for one in the remastered versions of the songs, it's still cool to like go through them and see like, oh, I've been listening to that track, like that's pretty cool. So something you said though, and I absolutely have to call this out, something you said, Henry, like you have to give a ton of props. The demo for this game is phenomenal. Like I will 100% back them up on that. Like it allows you to play 30 songs, which is like, I mean, that's hours of gameplay. Like I think I clocked in at like a little over 2 hours on the demo alone. Because so the progress does carry over. So I got the demo and I was playing through the demo from, like I said, from Alexis mentioning it. And I was like playing through the demo and I'm like, okay, I got to buy this game. So I just kind of bought it and then the progress carried over. But yeah, I had to give them a shout out because like that demo is phenomenal. It allows you to play like up to 4 tracks from like 6 or 7 of the games, and then a few bonus ones too, and like no time limit, so you can just sit there replaying the tracks. The one thing it does funny, and Henry, you can attest to this, it advertises the game so hard in the demo. It's hilarious. Like you'll play a track, finish the track, and then it's like, buy the game. This is why you should buy the game. And it's like a little PowerPoint. And I'm like, dude, calm down, guys. Like this is laying it on real thick, but hey, it worked for me. So they must be doing something right. But yeah, no, I have been having a ton of fun with that game and very much looking forward to continuing on with that.
Can I say one more thing?
It's a very fun game.
Yeah, so this is not about, well, I guess it's about Square Enix, is that with the Rebirth demo, when you finish it, it prompts you to like purchase the game. But like at the end of like the end screen, when you finish the demo, it's like, how it says thank you for playing or whatever. If you click like any button, it spoils you and it plays like the most recent trailer they like did. Whoa. So like I was like, what the fuck? And then I got spoiled a little bit. So I closed my game instantly. So I know it's funny because you said that it like prompts you to like buy the game now or something like that. So that was just a funny thing I remember.
That is so wild. And you just reminded me of something, and I'm going to give a PSA to the gaming community at large. If anybody listens to this, you just reminded me of this. It's not related to Final Fantasy, but it is related to being spoiled. So kind of a funny story here to close our episode out is there is a game made by Supermassive Games of Until Dawn fame called Hidden Agenda. And it came out like 5 or 6 years ago. And I was playing this game with a group of my friends and my brother. And in Hidden Agenda, it's a murder mystery game. And if you guess the killer right, obviously you see that play out, you see the ending. If you guess the killer wrong, which we did, the game essentially tells you, hey, you were wrong. And then it rolls to credits. And we naively left the game playing while we were talking about the game as the credits were rolling. In the credit sequence, it shows you who the actual killer is for the game. Even if you guessed it wrong, because it plays the same credit sequence no matter what. I just had to mention that real quick because that is by far one of the worst design choices I think I've seen in a game in maybe ever. We were so mad because we were like, we don't replay a ton of stuff, and obviously like a party game, it's kind of hard to replay. But dude, we were all raring to go. Like we were like, oh, let's hop back in. Let's pick it right. Let's pay attention. And it literally, like, it was like a train wreck we couldn't look away from. It's like playing the credits and we just see the sequence. And we're like, are you effing kidding me?
Yeah.
So I had to call that out because you just reminded me of that, saying that Rebirth plays that trailer. I was like, dude, Hidden Agenda, easily the worst example of that I think I've ever seen.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know about that. I looked it up like real quick, and it says Hidden Agenda spoils ending if you fail. So like what you said. So there we go.
Dude, it's terrible, man. I've
That's
never
so
seen
weird.
something like that. And I've never seen something like that since. It's been like 6-7 years since we played it. It's insane.
And you won't see anything like that ever again because it used an app. And so Sony completely moved away from that.
Yep, that is true. Yeah, that is true. I remember that. Yeah, we were playing it on our phones. It's kind of a wild game. But yeah, that's kind of it for what I've been playing. So
Got it. What about Atelier? You want to say anything about that, or you want to like wrap it up?
You know, honestly, like I wrote that on our tracker. I've been playing Atelier, Esha, and Logi. It's fun, and I've been having a blast. It's my chill out game. So like, you know, you want to just throw on 20, 30 minutes. I call it a podcast game. Sometimes like if you want to just, you know, play a like a sports game or something, or like a Atelier game while you're listening to the Plug and Play podcast. I mean, like that's
Couldn't
an
have said
easy
it better myself.
recommendation.
I like that.
It's an easy recommendation. It's actually funny, and I'm glad you actually brought this up because I will mention to anybody that's looking to get into the series, even just as like a chill game, kind of a bit of a PSA. A lot of the games in the Atelier series, and especially the older games, the Japanese voices voice a lot more of the dialogue than the English dub does. So like, for example, in this game, I'm playing with the Japanese audio, and I just completed, which I mentioned on like the last episode, Atelier Aisha, which I played in English. It's like a night and day how much more is voiced.
Wow.
I'm like, it's
I didn't know that.
crazy that they just didn't get a lot of English
can be
VO
killer.
for these games. So yeah, I highly recommend if you're one of those, you know, people that likes to hear the dialogue, if you don't want to just like kind of read a visual novel the whole time, play in Japanese. That's my recommendation. So
Got it. You wanna say anything, Henry, about that? Or
No, I'm good.
okay. Yeah, I didn't recognize that if you play in Japanese, there's more voice dialogue than English. That's like the first time I've heard about that. But
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
got
big
it.
difference.
all right, that was everything. We had a jam-packed episode. It was over 3 hours long. So let's get this going. Yeah, let's get this going. So thank you everybody for coming out today. So any final words?
Another episode in the books. Really enjoyed Fantasy Critic. Looking forward for that for the rest of the year. And it's been a jam-packed year this year with news. So it is a great time to have a podcast.
Yeah, it's gonna be a huge year with Xbox and everything. Cameron, anything you want to say before we leave?
Kojima fans, forgive me for my slander. That's all I
Got you.
ask of you.
We
That's all I
respect
have
it.
to say.
We respect it. All right. All right. Thank you everybody for listening to today's episode. Make sure to give us a rating on Spotify or Apple if you haven't already. And we will see you in the next one. Take care.
See ya.
Thanks, everybody.